Hello, hello, hello.
Yeah, and it'll take a minute properly to get it. Okay, now we're on YouTube, live on YouTube,
Okay.
even
I'm
though
hearing
there's
a bit of an echo somewhere. Monkey, have you got your YouTube turned up?
Uh, okay, I'll see if I have the thing turned up. 1 second. Right. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can
Hold
hear
on,
you.
hold
Yeah.
on. Okay. Oh, how about now? Can you hear me better?
We could hear you just fine. There was an echo. That was all.
Oh, is the echo gone now?
Yeah, seems to be.
Okay.
Uh, oh no, I heard it again. But that's okay. Don't worry. We'll figure it
Oh,
out.
how about now?
Um, we'll just have to see how it goes, man.
Okay.
You look as if you're wearing many hats.
Oh
yeah.
yeah, I'm honoring you in this way. Can you read?
Aha, I see.
And then look at my shirt. Hold on.
Oh, not Grogu again. Ah.
What's
Oh, it's a
wrong with
different
Grogu?
Grogu. Here, right there. And but
Happy New Year to
what?
everyone.
Yeah,
Oh yeah. I trying to see where it's at. Got something. Where is it? It's right here. Oh, do you remember last time, Monkeyboy, when I told you that I was trying to get something, but the shopkeeper was just really he had a customer that was really chatty.
Okay.
I think somebody got away from you.
Aha. There he
Yeah.
is.
And I even got the one that has the tail. See?
Cool. Cool.
So I was
Good work.
so happy to get the exact same one that you got. I mean, I saw it and I almost fangirl streamed.
Has he still got his eyebrows?
now you're starting to echo some, Dave.
Yeah, I don't know why. I haven't got the sound on anything. I'm not on YouTube. I'm just on StreamYard.
Okay.
Yeah, I had to
And
switch the heads. I've got two Whiplash figures. I had to switch the heads this week because one of them I just wasn't very happy with. I had
yeah,
one with a
Oh,
good head and a dodgy body, and one with a dodgy dodgy head and a good body. So I switched them over.
well,
y-
maybe you had to switch the other one after he had gone into the fridge and had the wrong jar.
Yeah, maybe.
um, so I was wondering, since I got my question in late, was Skeletor still able to answer it?
um, I haven't. I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
Remind me what the question was.
It's on the it's it's in the comments of your Skeletor.
Uh, well, if I replied, then I've got the comment. If you had a
I
reply, then
don't.
it'll be there.
Oh, well,
Hey
if
Sue.
you oh, if
Hey
you weren't
Sam.
able to find it, can you see that he includes it for the next week like you did in the past?
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure it'll be on the show. Um,
Oh,
if you had a
okay.
reply, then I've got the question.
I don't know if
I
you
seem to remember.
replied.
Oh, okay.
I've been busy all day.
Well, when did you send it?
I think I don't know. I think yesterday afternoon or last night. I don't know. It's been a very busy couple days.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll have to see. I did get one question or a couple of questions from you. So I'm sure.
Okay,
I'm sure I
then.
can do those.
Oh, it was a long one. It was one that had like a few different questions, but they each were one question relating to the other.
Oh, okay.
But
Oh,
I'll
we'll
be
see.
quiet so he can catch up with the chat.
And we have a few people in the chat so far. Midnight's Edge After Dark, Tom Connors is shown up in the chat, and then Universal Toy Collector Stu is here, and he is hoping Monkey is feeling better this week.
Oh yes,
Thanks, man.
thank you.
Thanks, man.
I was just feeling very am I allowed to curse on here?
Probably better that you don't, not just yet.
Well, the C word.
You definitely don't say that.
Okay. Then I was feeling very poopy, and so I ended up falling asleep right after I got off of here. So yeah,
You mean you were feeling crappy? Oh, that's okay. You can say that.
Yes.
I thought you meant the other C word.
Nope, I don't use that one.
That's
Oh,
good.
well.
I'm glad you're feeling better anyway. You disappeared rather abruptly last week. We were wondering if you were okay or not.
Yeah, when I disappeared, it was only a few minutes after I pressed end that I fell asleep. The first thing I thought when I woke up was I checked my phone to make sure that I had ended it, so I wasn't asleep on stream, because it was only a few. So I ended it. Then I felt crappy, and then I fell asleep right away. And then when I woke up, I checked my phone, and then I was like, "Phew!" But
No, it's all good.
remember how last time? Oh, are you caught up on the chat?
Well, I just wanted to read a little bit more. Gerardo Connor says, Allo, people, a year older yet wiser. Happy old age, everyone. And Ray Red's Universal Toy Collectors. And then we have Delvy and Zeke saying greetings to you all.
So, yes, hello, Andrew. Hello, Midnight's Edge. Hello, Sue. Hello, Gerard. Hello, Delvian. Did I miss anyone?
Reminds me of an episode of the Waltons.
Yeah, I don't think you missed anyone.
Okay, cool.
Do you remember last time how you said that I always show weird and odd things and it's okay?
Yep.
Well, I want to show you my favorite Indiana Jones film. Can you take a guess as to which one it is?
Well, no, I'm not going to guess. Is that Crystal Skull?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And it's a slipcover. What?
I haven't seen that yet.
Oh, well, it's the slipcover edition.
Yeah, it was on the Paramount Channel 8 last night. My mom recorded it along with Temple of Doom.
Well, I hope you get a chance to watch it, Tim. It's my favorite. And yes, I've even seen what?
I haven't heard good things about it, but I do have it. I just haven't watched it yet.
Okay, well, I will say it's better than the newest one. I won't say any spoilers, but I will say I love this better than I love the newest one, the Dial of Destiny.
Yeah, well, yeah, the Dial of Destiny was not very well received at all. So,
and did you know that if you own any of the classic Indiana Jones films, you actually have a film that Hitler is in?
Okay.
Because in the Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, when they are chasing Indiana, when he has his father's journal, he ends up, remember, he's in uniform. He's in Nazi uniform. And he ends up running into a kind of like a street thing to get away from the people chasing after him. Well, that alert happens to where they all stand at attention, and there Hitler comes walking in front of Indiana Jones, and he's holding his father's notebook or his father's journal, and Hitler looks at him, then looks at the journal, takes the journal, signs it, then gives it back to Indiana.
Uh-huh.
Well, on that note, there's a film that one sleazy director, I think his name is like James Franco or something, did that was so bad. It's the one film that he regrets doing, and it was so bad that he didn't even give it an official cover.
Oh, you mean
Right?
Jess Franco?
Yeah, this is called Women's Camp 19.
Yeah,
and it is. Yeah, it is it was the one film that he regretted doing, and it takes a lot for him to regret doing a film. But I own this one, and it is very unique because it's a up convert of a VHS copy, and so they just took the VHS copy, put it on DVD, and I'm very happy to have it. And then you can have that without having.
Okay. Okay.
This actually does not focus on him, but two brothers end up getting recruited, but they end up being put on two separate sides. So it's basically a brother against brothers tale.
Okay.
And then.
Hey, Tom. Good to see you, man.
Then we all love a good documentary, right?
I like a good one, yeah.
What about a 12-hour thing of Hitler?
No, thanks.
12 hours. It took me forever to track this down, but it's 12 hours on Hitler. And every single battle, every single time that something that he controlled won a victory, it's in this. And yeah, and on the back it has this wonderful image. Let's see if it's there of him.
Okay.
Yeah. But don't worry. Remember, I'm a Jew, so I know what side I'm on. I'm just it's really great to collect these things. It's kind of like why people still collect things of different players, even if they're not a fan of that team. You know, it's like I'm still collecting a piece of my history. You know, it's like. But I'll be quiet for the rest of the chat to catch up. But I hope I didn't I hope I didn't freak you or Tim out.
Yeah, I don't quite understand why you suddenly have this fixation with Hitler.
Well, I was able to finish it. I got everything that I wanted to have in it. So I guess you could say I got it finished almost as quickly as I got it. But oddly enough, it all started when I found out that they had that scene of Hitler in Indiana Jones. So I got all the stuff that I could, and then I got satisfied. So I'm fine with not collecting anymore. I mean, I had a chance to get the book, but I didn't. So.
Okay. Well, whatever makes you happy, man. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry if I
can't
sorry
say
if I freaked any sorry if I freaked anybody out.
Gerard's saying there's a small echo from me. Well, I don't know where it's coming from, Gerard. I'm afraid I can hear an echo sometimes as well, but I don't have YouTube open on anything, so I don't know where it's coming from. Monkey, have you got YouTube running in the background?
No, I just hold on, I'll see if anything's running.
Yeah, I don't know where the echo's coming from, Tim, I'm afraid. Sorry, dude.
Okay, well, let's just try talking, see if we're getting any echo.
Yeah, I could hear it from somewhere, but don't know where.
I didn't see it. I didn't. I closed anything that could have possibly been causing it.
Okay, we'll just have to see how it goes. Delvian saying he's tried to watch the new Indiana Jones twice, but he can't get into it. No, after seeing the retro blasting takedown of it, I'm really not interested in watching the film. It looks terrible, and that's not the Indiana Jones that I want to remember. Gerard saying it's desperately bad. Tom saying that there was some continuity errors. Okay, that's not particularly good, particularly in a modern film. I mean, you can understand things in older films sometimes going wrong, but you know, with today's filmmaking machine, particularly something as big as Indiana Jones, you would think they would have those things ironed out. But yeah, I don't have any interest in watching the new one.
Well,
have you seen the new one, Tim?
No, I haven't seen it, but I heard that they had to change the ending because the original ending that was filmed got leaked, and that it pissed a lot of people off what they heard, so they filmed a new ending,
Right.
which was tacked on probably at the last minute.
Okay.
I will say the ending does feel tacked on.
Yeah.
But I think the important thing is that even though I did get into those films that I showed, that I was able to get out of it as soon as I collected them. And I think that's the real important thing, you know?
Okay, yeah.
Plus, I didn't know I didn't know what?
We're saying
cheerio, Stu.
Yeah, Universal Toy Collector's gonna head back to work, so he's hopefully catch you guys when he gets home. So he's having to head back to work.
And I honestly didn't know I didn't know that I would upset you when I got into something different.
No, you're okay, man.
Yeah, you're okay. It just seems kind of strange to me why suddenly you're talking about Hitler so much. I just don't quite understand.
Well,
Gerard's going to give me a good shaking to sort out the echo. Yeah, I don't know what the issue is, Gerard. I'm afraid it's not my end.
Yeah, I can try. I could close YouTube on my end, but then you won't be able to see. I can't see the chat room aside from what comes through onto StreamYard. So that's about all I could do.
I will mute myself, and you tell me if it's on my end. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I can still I could still hear an echo, but I can't at the moment. But it seems to be coming and going. Maybe there's some gremlins in the system somewhere. Ben, good evening, sir.
Yeah,
Thanks for joining us.
I'm just gonna close YouTube on my end because there's not really much else I can do aside from adjust mic settings from my end, and that has made things worse at times.
Okay.
Apparently, the original ending would have made the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles not canon or something. Yeah, I don't know, 1980s and Star Wars guy.
We've still got the echo, Tim.
Well, I checkmarked echo cancellation on your end, and if I checkmark, or on my end, and if I checkmark reduce mic background noise, there's going to be distortion. I start to get distortion from your mic. So there's nothing. I don't think that there's anything. I could unclick automatically adjust mic volume, but there's not really much else I can do. I think we're just gonna. Everybody's just gonna have to deal with it as best they can.
So, Monkeyboy and Tim, did you guys get anything in?
Not yet. I'm still waiting for I'm still waiting on. I'm getting some stuff from Amazon Prime later today. Okay, now I'm hearing myself echo, but I don't know why.
Monkey, did you join StreamYard through YouTube, or did you come directly through StreamYard?
Through the internet.
Yeah, but did you go onto YouTube and then join StreamYard? Have you still got YouTube running in the background?
No, I closed it when I removed myself. Here, I'll try something.
Okay, let's see if we've still got an echo, Tim.
I don't know. I can try reducing background noise on my end.
I'm not hearing an echo now, man.
Okay, well, I don't know if that'll do what that'll do. So,
Gerard saying chill topics. Just keep that in mind. Yeah. Yes, Gerard, quite.
Yeah.
That was a bit heavy out of the gate, wasn't it? But that's fine.
Duly noted.
No worries. It's okay. Let's see if the echo comes back.
I'm not hearing anything. No echo.
No, we seem to be all right for the moment. Let's keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah, I had to adjust my settings as well, but I can show you something that I have coming today from Amazon Prime, but I'll have to make myself big.
Okay.
For a second. So you'll just see me, but I can point. I don't know how well this is going to show up, but
I don't know. Interesting visual feedback. Let's have a look. What is it? Is that? Oh my goodness! What on earth is that weapon?
I don't know, but it says Star Wars Rogue One Sergeant Jyn Erso Imperial Infiltrator action figure. I'm getting her later today, and then
okay, cool figure, but that weapon is ridiculous.
And then I'm getting Chewbacca.
Hey.
And then I have another one that's hopefully coming, but it's not out for. It's not listed as being out for delivery yet. I'm getting the Blu-ray Looney Tunes Collector's Choice Volume 2.
Oh, cool.
And then with that order, I'm getting Stormtrooper Han Solo.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Yeah. Don't we all?
I know.
So, yeah, that's some stuff that I'll have hopefully coming later today.
I didn't think that you were a big fan of Rogue One, Tim.
I don't mind it as much. It's a little bit better than most of the Disney Star Wars, but
yeah, I'd agree with that. I like Rogue One. I think it's really good. I love it.
Yeah.
Michael French seems to endorse it.
I was so happy when I saw that black guy in it. That black guy has been in lots of stuff, and I thought he was really good. The one that had the mechanical arm.
In Rogue One?
Yes. The friend of her father's that sent the transmission.
Oh, you mean Saw Gerrera?
Yes. That actor has been in so much, and I was so happy to see him on there and to see Mr. Hannibal Lecter, the actor that played him in the show.
Oh yeah, the guy that plays Jyn Erso's father. Yeah. Is it Mads Mikkelsen? Is that his name?
Yes. How would you feel if they did a prequel series from Mads Mikkelsen's character's point of view when he was working on the Death Star?
It's not the worst idea I've heard. It's probably a better idea than the Andor series, in my opinion.
And the Andor series is just really serious. It's more like a soap opera.
Yeah, I mean, I really wasn't a fan of that. I did watch it all, but
you did watch it.
I did watch it all.
And I hope that they
nothing.
I'm sorry, but they ripped off part of THX 1138 for one episode.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah. But what was it? Really, say Monkeyboy or Monkey? I mean, the monkey.
I'm gonna tell you something. I hope I don't get in trouble for it, but I really did not like most of the episodes of Boba Fett.
That's okay. I don't mind.
I only loved the episodes that had the Mandalorian, Grogu, and Luke Skywalker in it.
Right. Yeah, I didn't like most of the Book of Boba Fett either. I mean, there were some moments in it that I did like. I liked that the whole Rancor scene where he was riding the Rancor about. I mean, I thought that was visually very good and quite entertaining. But
what did you think? What did you think, Monkeyboy, of the way that they portrayed and used that guy with the tails for the head? The guy that could talk very eloquently. The one that at the end ended up giving the speech saying that they could turn themselves in and that there would be a lot of begging.
It was okay. I mean, I wasn't a fan of any of the series, to be honest.
Yeah. I'm just saying I've never known them to have a character that was in the series that was so willing to to surrender, and that wasn't to actually prefer to beg. And like, no character, as far as I can remember, on this in the universe of Star Wars ever wanted to. I mean, I'm just saying, he just really didn't seem to fit in. I mean, everyone always fought for hope. They fought for the right thing. But this guy was more than happy to like give the evil mayor more time and stall for him, and then run away until he's caught, and then try to get the good guys to surrender in the end. I it didn't really work for me, you know?
Okay, yeah, I can see that. I haven't liked all of the Disney series. I liked The Mandalorian, certainly the first 2 seasons. The third was
Me too.
a little bit of a letdown.
I hated the third season so much. The only thing I loved in season 3 was Boba Frick. No squeezy! No squeezy! Bad baby! Bad baby! The little guy, the one that was so good at his great grandson was in the he was the one that fixed C-3PO to get that data in The Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
That character was my favorite part of the third season. But other than that, I mean, giving Baby Yoda a mechanical suit, awful.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not Baby Drogo. And making it so he only says yes, yes, no, no, bad. Oh, horrible.
Yeah, it wasn't the best, no. I wasn't a huge fan of Obi-Wan. The Obi-Wan show didn't really do much for me. It was okay, but I wasn't crazy about it. I liked Ahsoka. There were some moments in it which were quite silly, but on the whole, I found it quite entertaining. At least it felt more Star Wars-y than some of the others have been.
Yes, I was a big fan of Ahsoka, and how about this? How about each of us says our favorite Star Wars film and our favorite Star Wars show, and then we'll take turns saying our worst movie in the franchise and our worst TV show in the franchise.
I'm not sure about worst movie. I don't know. I don't know about the worst movie, quite honestly, and it'd probably be quite a controversial decision because I would probably pick one of the prequel trilogy rather than the sequel trilogy because, as I've said many times, while I understand the issues that people have with the sequel trilogy, they're at least watchable in their own right. If you take them at face value, they're at least colourful and interesting, and there's lots of action, and the performances are okay. Apart from the the plot holes and the issues with mucking about with the canon. I find the sequel trilogy a little bit easier to watch than the prequels, which I find terribly slow. And some of the performances in the prequel trilogy were shocking. And it's things like, I remember really enjoying Darth Maul from The Phantom Menace, and then I watched it back a couple of years ago, and it's shocking how little he's in the movie. He's only in it for about 6 or 7 minutes in the whole movie.
There's actually supposed to be more scenes that had him in it, But George Lucas and the studio, but mainly the studio, was like, we want him more menacing. And they realized Darth Maul wasn't menacing when he was shown talking. So they cut out most of his lines, and that's why he's just this menacing character in the
Right.
film. He originally had more scenes shot where he was talking, but they wanted to turn him into this brooding, mysterious, like Terminator.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I agree with you. That's why the second Attack of the Clones, in my opinion, is the second is the worst film, because if you take out the second film, Attack of the Clone Wars, I can actually handle Boba Fett better, the series, and I can handle the what is it? I can't remember, but I only watched the Clone Wars film, the second one, once. I I didn't like it at all. The second one. I can handle the
Yeah.
third, no problem. I can handle the first one, but the second one, it just, there's so much going on in it. I just can't handle it all. It just, I mean, it's weird. I can handle the all those war films, the Gods and Generals, the Gettysburg, but when it comes to Attack of the Clones, I just can't.
Yeah, I'd probably agree. That's probably my least favorite.
But
You know,
I'd say,
on balance, I would say so.
but I'd say worst TV show. I have to agree with you. I hated Andor.
Yeah, I didn't like that. I watched the whole thing because I wanted to be fair to it. I didn't want to dismiss it without having given it its chance. And
Um,
every single I watched the first episode and just thought I don't like this, but I'll watch the second and see if it picks up. And then I thought, well, I still don't like it, but I'll give it another one to see if it picks up. And I did it every single episode until I got to the end, and I thought, well, I haven't liked any of these. Um,
I
it just
I'll
didn't
ask
feel
you
like
one.
Star Wars. It felt too
Yeah,
political. I just didn't like it.
I'm gonna offer a rename of it, and you tell me if it fits. Okay?
Hmm.
Don't you agree? It felt more like Prison Break.
I think a better name would be Blandor.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah, really didn't like that at all.
What happened to Tim?
Don't know.
Oh, well, I thought Natalie Portman was really good in that. She was really good in those films, but I will say, for the actor who played Anakin Skywalker to come back and be able to, what has it been, 12 years since he was Anakin Skywalker, and he just seamlessly got back into his role for Ahsoka.
Yeah, yeah,
I thought that shows how good of an actor he is, that after like 12 years, he was able to easily come back and be able to portray the good Anakin and the
yeah.
evil Anakin so seamlessly. It was like he never left.
Andrew's saying that the Ewok TV series uh, aren't aren't good. Um, and Gerard was saying that he really likes Han Solo's line when he's being lowered into the carbon freezing chamber, which is, yep, it is a good line.
I
Yeah,
actually said that earlier in the live.
I haven't seen all of the Christmas special though. I've seen the animated sections that Andrew's referring to, but I haven't seen all of the other stuff. Um, I've seen clips of the Wookiee household with Chewie and his family, and it just seems very bizarre.
I refuse to watch the Lego Christmas specials. I refuse.
Not familiar with those.
It doesn't feel canon to me. Well, after Disney acquired Star Wars, they and after Rise of Skywalker, they came out with a new Christmas special for Star Wars, and it was all with Lego characters, the Lego Star Wars, and I refused to watch it because let's just say they did Finn dirty.
Right. Okay.
So, Tim, what's your favorite Star Wars film and most well, or do you want to say which one you did not like the most?
Which one I didn't like the most?
Give us your thoughts. Give us your thoughts for about 2 minutes, Tim, because I need to go and use the bathroom. I can still hear you.
Yeah, Revenge of the Sith, because it was way too dark and depressing. And Return of the Jedi, my favorite, since it was the first one I saw in a movie theater.
Did you? So you saw? So you? Just a quick question. So did you see it before all the changes?
Yes. I was born in 1977, so I was like around 6 when Return of the Jedi came out.
Then I have a question, if I may ask. It's about the original Star Wars films.
Yes.
Don't you? Well, how do you feel about them changing Darth Vader like they did?
What do you mean? I don't understand what you mean.
Well, they and the end of the last one, when they do the Force Ghosts.
Oh, that. Yeah, I heard about that from my sister-in-law, and I know she was really unhappy about it, that they put Hayden Christensen's head over Sebastian Shaw's face.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that was kind of tacky.
Yeah. I was upset as well, because I remember the very first time I saw the prequel series is when I watched the same copies that I still have, which are the Star Wars on VHS.
Yes.
And that had the original older Anakin Skywalker ghost spirit. And I really liked that version. And when I saw that they changed it, I was like, this doesn't add up with the rest.
Yeah, they did that for the DVD and the Blu-ray as well. At first, I thought it was just for when the special editions went to cable, but then after the prequels came out, George Lucas did more tinkering with the special editions. I know he made a mistake in Phantom Menace, where after he added in Jabba the Hutt to the original Star Wars, he made Jabba the Hutt is smaller and younger looking in the special edition of Star Wars. He makes the mistake of making Jabba the Hutt the same size in Phantom Menace as he is in Return of the Jedi. So to fix that mistake, he goes back and tinkers with the original Star Wars again and makes Jabba the Hutt the same size as he is in the other two films.
Uh-huh.
I'll tell you the mistake the thing that they cut from the original last film in the trilogy, the thing I hated the most was they cut the dance scene out. They cut Ula's dance scene out. They edited it so that she basically didn't have as long as because she originally did like a 3 or 4 minute dance. The Drain Girl.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
They cut her dance when they put it onto different platforms, like when they and they cut her death scene. That was bad. And the explanation, like they had a original translation for when she's talking. I hated that they cut that translation out because you actually get to see what she was saying to Jabba and what he was saying back to her. But they cut it because it was something they could get away with back then, but they couldn't get away with it now. Because she wanted to leave for a very specific reason, but it was a reason that was not appropriate to be read now. So she got killed for something that they felt shouldn't be read by everybody, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But was that ever in the film? Was that ever when it was shown in theaters or anything?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
Because I think I know from listening to the National Public Radio adaptation of Return of the Jedi, this other dancing girl, Erica, is telling C-3PO that Ula won't do this one dance for Jabba no matter how much he pays her, and that's why he throws her in the pit.
Nope. In the original, she does the dance, but then she tries to get away, and she basically tells him in her own language, I can't, let me go. It's too big for me. And then he's like, you something, if you're not going to, then your fate is death.
Uh-huh.
Did I say it appropriately?
Yeah, you did it fine.
Yeah.
Good.
But you had asked us earlier what our favorite Star Wars TV show was, and what was a Star Wars TV show we hated.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've never seen Mandalorian, but I do love Gina Carano, so I can't say I hated that. But the Ewoks cartoon, I just got bored with really quick, and even though the Droids cartoon, I got a little bit annoyed with the cast changes. I love the theme song to it, and the Droids cartoon was probably the best Star Wars show for me, at least growing up as a kid.
Yeah, I didn't mind the droids. I didn't see much of the Ewoks one. The droids was okay.
Was that your cat saying
Yeah.
something? I heard? Was
Yeah.
it? Okay, because I was wondering if maybe one of my neighbor's cats came into my backyard again. So I heard a cat going.
No, that was Ewok.
I have to go, but will you be back for next week?
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll be back for next week.
Then I hope you both have a good day, but I just wanted to specifically let you know that I wasn't leaving for health. I just got something I gotta do. I got some plans, but I have to get going. But I wanted to specifically let you know that this time it's not health related.
Okay, well,
Okay,
thanks for letting us know.
Yep.
thanks for joining us, Monkey. Thank you, man.
Yeah. Bye,
And
Monkey.
he's gone. Yeah,
Yeah,
that whole thing with when Lucas sort of re-engineered the trilogy, there was some good moments in there that I thought made sense. You know, putting the dewbacks in the Tatooine scenes, I thought was fine, because it's not something that the budget would have allowed back in 77, 79.
yeah, I think they made them more mobile, where you actually see them like walking around on their feet more.
Yeah, and that was fine. I really didn't like the addition of the singing and dancing scene in Jabba's palace. I thought that was unnecessary and silly. It was cartoonish. It didn't belong. It didn't fit in with the with the with the with the feel of the movie. I didn't
So
like
you
that.
like the original Latinx that goes da 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 da.
Yeah, I just didn't feel that those CGI dancers and singers were very good, and it was just done in a cartoony style that just did not fit in at all. I didn't appreciate him changing the voice of Boba Fett when Boba Fett says when Vader says he's going to test the carbon freezing chamber on Luke, and Boba Fett says, "What if he doesn't survive? He's worth a lot to me." I didn't see the reason for changing his voice and making him sound like a someone from New Zealand. I
I
mean,
think it was because they changed the actors.
yeah,
It was something to do with the prequels.
yeah. I mean,
I think they wanted the same act, since Boba Fett was basically a clone
yeah.
of Jango Fett. They wanted the same actor doing the voice.
Yeah, I just didn't like it. I liked the line reading as it was, and I thought he sounded really cool, and it just didn't have the same ring to it because I was so used to that line. I mean, obviously, because Boba Fett says basically very little in the entire trilogy, and yeah, and just to change that line, I found that quite disappointing. Really, I understand why it was done, and for the reasons you've said, that he was a clone, but I just like the line reading as it was done originally. So that was. Oh, reading movies is saying that accents are learned, not genetic, so it was unnecessary to change the voice. Yeah, I would agree with that. Um, it was just a cool line, and it was, you know, just a shame that it was changed. Um, Andrew saying the old Star Wars newspaper strips were fun. I don't remember those.
They might have only been in the States, and I'm not sure if they were in every single newspaper, and I don't think that it was something that lasted very long.
Right. So were they following the story as from the films, or were they standalone things?
It sounds like maybe they stuck to They stuck to the first two films.
Right. Hello, dude. I can hear my cat licking something in my kitchen. I don't know what she's licking, but she's licking something that's making a very raspy noise. I don't know what it could be.
You sure she's
Ewok,
just
what?
not cleaning herself?
No. She's not made of plastic. I don't. She's licking something. I don't know what it is. Ewok, what are you doing, you crazy animal?
Here, kitty, 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 kitty.
She's strange because she'll lie down and she'll start licking her leg or her paw, and then she'll move away from it and then start licking the thing that she's laying on, and I don't think she realizes she's not licking herself anymore. It's quite bizarre. Very strange cat. But I can just hear this noise. So she's obviously been cleaning herself, and then now she's licking. She's probably laying on a bag or something.
Okay, well, Andrew says after the first movie, Lucasfilm let license holders do crazy stuff that is not canon. The comics, newspaper stuff, all that is wild and crazy. By Empire, they reigned that stuff.
Okay. Yeah, no, I never came across the cartoon strip. Oh, Nick's saying hi. Hello, Nick. Hey, man.
Yeah. And Gerard O'Connor says, so I guess New Zealanders are all from space, laughing out loud. And Andrew, those license holders did not know the twists in Empire, so some of their stuff is a little crazy in hindsight, Luke and Leia. Yeah, well, you have to keep in mind also that George Lucas didn't know that Star Wars was going to do so well, so there was Splinter in the Mind's Eye that was going to be the original sequel if the original Star Wars hadn't done so well.
Splinter in the Mind's Eye?
Yeah, it's a novel that's a sequel to Star Wars. It would have ended up being like a made-for-TV movie sequel to Star Wars if the original Star Wars hadn't done so well.
Was it ever published?
Yeah, it's a paperback novel.
Oh, wow. So you could actually read that as a sequel to Star Wars then?
Yeah, but after everything that's happened, it really doesn't make any sense.
Oh, okay. But it's still quite interesting though. I never knew that.
And Ben Stetley says, say Happy New Year to Ewok for me, Monkeyboy.
Okay, I will. Ewok, Ben says Happy New Year. Oh, well, she stopped licking whatever she was doing, so she was clearly she clearly was paying attention. There you go, Ben.
Yeah, and Ewok, if you want to say something, say meow. Now bite.
I've just seen what she's doing. I've got a little hammock, almost like a baby hammock chair thing that I bought for her to sleep in, because I thought she might like it. It's a Spider-Man one, and she's in that, and but it's made of I guess like a nylon material or something, and she's licking that. So don't know why she's doing that. She's mental.
Yeah.
Andrew's saying that that this Splinter paperback has an iconic cover. I will have to look that up after the stream.
Okay, well, I've got a paperback of it, so I can go grab it.
Oh, have you? And
Yeah, but
Andrew's saying it's the Alan Dean Foster paperback. Reading movies will be interested to see that. Tim? Reading movies. Do you have Splinter in the Mind's Eye? Is that do you have that one? I've not seen that on your channel. I don't think we've discussed that. Is that one that you've got? If not, is that the Alan Dean Foster one that you've got, Tim?
yes. So hold on a second. Cool. Monkeyboy, you are lucky that Disney owns both Star Wars and Marvel. Otherwise, you couldn't put Ewok in a Spider-Man hammock. Oh, and yeah, Nick's wanted to join, but first I show you that is my paperback, Splinter of the Mind's Eye. And it says Legends because Disney rebranded expanded universe stuff as Legends. Okay. So I guess I think it's just part of the expanded universe.
Okay, now. Cool. Well, reading movies, there's one you're going to have to pick up for your Alan Dean Foster collection, if you haven't already got that one. I haven't seen that in your collection before, so that's possibly one that you're going to want to pick up. Hey, Nick. Can't hear you, mate. Okay. Reading movies, saying, just confirming what you said, Tim, that it was a potential sequel if Star Wars didn't make a lot of money. And no, he doesn't own it. Well, that may be one that you need to add to your collection. Reading movies. Andrew saying hello to Nick. Nick's gone again.
Maybe he's sick and he just can't talk.
No, he'll be back. He'll be back. Ben's saying that he's got the graphic novel version of Splinters of the Mind's Eye, and he always took it as a side story between episodes 4 and 5. Well, I'd be interested to read that. I haven't read anything for such a long time because of my memory issues. I find it difficult to read things now. But I wouldn't mind, just finding out what happened in that story. That's quite interesting. It's a very shiny book you've got there, Tim. That looks in fantastic condition.
Well, it's my webcam is reflecting off of it.
Yeah, but it looks lovely and minty.
I haven't really read it yet, I don't think. Oh, what happened to... Oh, yeah, I have to re-add him. Hi, Nick.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes,
we can hear you.
I thought maybe you were sick and just couldn't talk.
No. Well, no, I'm still testing pregnant on the tests, but I'm
still
back
pregnant.
Yeah, still pregnant, but I'm working on my own, and I just feel a bit there, but I'm working on my own in a house with nobody, so it's just go in and do what you can, because otherwise the other option is to sit at home and mope.
Hey, you got a haircut?
No, I haven't had my haircut. That's the thing. Look, it's getting bushy. My skin fade, all the grey showing.
I have a haircut, as if you haven't noticed, but I've let the mustache and beard grow back.
Yeah. It's coming back again.
You were so young. So it's Splinter of the Mind's Eye. It's a cool story, that is. But no Han Solo and no Chewbacca.
Oh, what?
Yeah, just Han, or just Luke, Leia, Darth Vader, and I think C-3PO.
I believe so. And I'm sure someone will tell me I'm completely wrong here, but I believe that initially George Lucas part of the reason for that was because George Lucas didn't think Star Wars was going to do as good as it did. So they sort of commissioned a story that could be filmed on a much lower budget. And then obviously Star Wars went kaboom. So much bigger budget.
Okay.
And that's where Empire comes in. That's my understanding. I'm sure there's a Star Wars person out there who wants to run me through with a lightsaber and tell me I'm completely wrong. That's fine. But that's what I believe. That's why I believe that story was written.
Oh.
So yes, how are we? Did we have a good New Year, people? Though, is it all good?
Yeah, it's about as good as it was going to be.
I think so. I can't remember. As you know, Nick, well, apparently I did see the New Year in. So rumor has it, but I cannot remember that. I can't remember it at all.
Well,
but there we are. Never mind.
Despite the fact I was ill, I was determined not to miss New Year. Carla, my wife, was not feeling great, so she went up at about 11. And so me, Kim Gonick, and Monkey jumped on a video call. And as Dave's brought it up, I don't mind saying we got to about 6 minutes past midnight, and Dave was out for the count. So we kicked him from the call and thought it's not cool to watch a man snore. But you did well, man. You made it to midnight.
Well, I mean, I did warn you. I mean, I said I've taken my sleeping tablet, and this could switch me off at any point. So I'm amazed I made it through. But I must say I don't remember anything past about 11:30, something like that. I remember you drilling yourself in the eye with a drill, and
a toy drill,
and then
a toy
drill. Yeah. So I remember that, and I remember you eating some cheese nibbles, and then after that, I cannot remember anything. So, goodness knows what was said. I've no idea, no memory of it at all. But I'm pleased.
We were just talking about fireworks.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that's the first New Year I've seen in about maybe 5 or 6 years. But as I say, I can't remember it. So.
Monkeyboy, would you like to read what's on there from Gerard?
Gerard saying the fan theory of Indiana Jones being a dream whilst Han Solo was frozen in carbonite due to a carving of the droids showing up in the Indiana Jones movie. Are we all aware of this, and any thoughts? Is this the carving of the droids that are on the Ark of the Covenant, or the container that houses the Ark of the Covenant? I hadn't heard of that. Someone's clearly sort of seen that little Easter egg and extrapolated from that. But that's an interesting take.
I thought
I do believe there's a comic though.
I thought that was on what the toy of the Ark had that design on it.
Yeah, but it's in the movie as well, I believe.
Yeah, there's a couple of Star Wars references, isn't there? Because is it Raiders of the Lost Ark? Is it Temple of Doom where they go to Club Obi-Wan?
Yeah, at the start of Temple of Doom, Club Obi-Wan.
However, I do believe there is a comic that is out there, officially released. I don't know if it's relating directly to the glyphs of this, but there where Indiana Jones finds the bones of Han Solo or something, and they end up on some crazy event. Look it up, you'll find it. Just type that, you'll find it. I read about it years ago. It is out there. I'm sorry, I can't give you any more on that, but someone has done a comic on it.
Was this like in Mad Magazine?
Not Tim. I really couldn't tell you. I just remember seeing screenshots of it in an article I read online years ago. Let me look it up. Let me see if I can find it.
Reading Movies is saying that he hasn't seen Splinter of the Mind's Eye cheap enough to buy, but he wouldn't feature it on his channel as it's not based on a screenplay, which is a good point. Reading Movies, if you guys haven't seen it, Reading Movies channel features novelizations of movies, and the host of the channel, Lewis, has many novelizations, going from, well, I'm not sure what his earliest novelization is. I would probably say maybe 70s. I'm not sure, but right through to modern day, he's got loads, and he's got almost a complete Alan Dean Foster collection, which is why I thought he might be interested in the Splinters book.
I did see. I searched for Splinters. The Mind Eye quick when you said about the comic thing. I think on eBay over here there are some copies for about £3.50, but I don't know where you are in the world. However, just to go back to the comic thing, from what I can see here on Wikipedia, the comic was called Into the Great Unknown. The writer of it was W. Haddon Blackman. The publisher was Dark Horse Comics. The publication date was May 14th, 2004, and it was published in Star Wars Tales 19. And yeah, it's about Indiana Jones finding the bones of Han Solo. There's a full description on Wikipedia if you want to look it up, but so there is something. I'm not sure it's connected directly to those glyphs, but there is, someone has sort of tackled a story involving Han Solo and Indiana Jones, so might be worth looking into if you're into that.
And that reminds me of the Star Wars fan film I watched on YouTube a number of years back. It was animated, where it has Indiana Jones's dad thawing Han Solo out of the carbonite instead of Bouche Leia. And then when Han's thawed out, he says, "Junior, how are you, boy?" And he says, "Wrong movie, Dad."
Excellent.
I went full podcast on you then, didn't I? Looking up the information. It's like a little.
That was good.
And it's good. This and it's that.
Yeah, good job.
Oh, that's my life, man. That's my life. It's
so, as my mom would say, endorse for the effort.
Andrew said he used to like novelizations because they would put stills from the movie in the middle of the book, and it was often the only way you got to see a piece of the film. I don't know if they do that these days or not. I've no idea.
I used to love those books where you'd open them. I used to love those glossy pages in the middle with the stills from the film, and occasionally you get a cheeky like backstage still showing like the cast and crew and the. I used to love those. They were great.
Yeah.
I think I had. I'm sure this isn't a fever dream, and it's relevant to this week. I think I had it like a GoldenEye, a more junior novelization of the James Bond film, which had those pictures in, which is interesting because this week I showed my son GoldenEye because he's mad on tanks, and I wanted to show him the tank chase in Russia. And what's happened is we've now been watching James Bond films every night, and he's hooked, and I'm chuffed as nuts because I love James Bond. So.
Excellent. Who's your favourite Bond, Nick?
Right, one that a lot of people go, what? Roger Moore. I love Roger Moore.
Okay. I mean, there's no wrong answer.
No, I can probably give you my order of Bonds, to be honest with you. Roger Moore, Pierce Brosnan, Dalton, then Connery, which people go, sacrilege. Why is he not your favourite one? And with regards to James Bond, I do really like Daniel Craig as James Bond, but I don't, because they're so separate from what I call classic Bond. Yeah, I look at them as a completely different section of Bond. I enjoy them for what they are. But I was saying to Jax, because even though he's 9, we have some quite cool conversations with him now. I said, I really hope if they bring back Bond again, because he said, oh, can we watch? Because I've got the Daniel Craig films up on my shelf there. And I said, they are a bit grown up for him. I said I would really love for them if they bring Bond back now to just drop the Daniel Craig style stuff, because you know they him in the last film, and as far as I'm concerned, James Bond never dies. But I just like them to go back to the style of the old ones. I just do a classic style one. Get someone in, just do that formulaic style we knew for years. Make it cheesy. I mean, I was watching the Bond films with him, and it's just amazing because I think it was in Tomorrow Never Dies. Piers Brosnan's just getting smacked to crap in the face, and he's just like, no marks on him, you know, just like so suave. And I'm just like, it's cheesy, it's not real. I know people like I really do like the Daniel Craig films, but they're very Bourne-y to me, very Bourne identity type with the ultra realistic. I just want some good old classic classic James Bond. Congratulations on Action Pop Dad's upcoming Bundle of Joy. Thank you. I would just, sorry, I'm waffling, but this is a chill stream. I presume James Bond is a fair game subject. I want a classic Bond film.
I really love
a classic Bond film.
I do like the classic Bond films. I've got quite a few of them. I'm not knocking them at all, but I must say I did like the revamp of Bond with Daniel Craig, and I think he's my favourite Bond. I find him more believable as Bond, but that's not to take anything away from.
No, not at all. There's no wrong answers, as you said.
Bond. I mean, my Bond growing up was Roger Moore. But of course, I used to watch Bond all the time with my parents, and predominantly my dad, because it used to be shown every Christmas.
I missed that.
You would get a different one. So I mean, I think my favourite Bond film is Live and Let Die,
which was I believe Roger Moore's first Live and Let Die. Then he did Man with the Golden Gun next, if I recall.
But no, I do think Daniel Craig did a great job, and I must say I do like those films. I mean, Quantum of Solace. I think the editor for Quantum of Solace was. I don't know what they were thinking, but my brain doesn't work that fast. The editing in that film was just so choppy and bizarre. I mean, the car chase at the beginning, every time the camera changes to another, you have to work out whose point of view you're looking from, because it's just so poorly edited. And the scene where they're fighting inside that old building with all the scaffolding, and they're kind of falling down the scaffolding, punching each other and stuff. You just don't know who's punching who, because it's just so choppily edited.
It's interesting. So I'm not sure what I read in the Beano, but if you can fill me in, but I possibly did. I source most of my key information from the Beano and Dandy classic editions. But so Quantum of Solace sort of reminds. So as I said, I really do like the Daniel Craig films. But I do take them as a complete separate thing from classic Bond. But I think it was the second Bourne film. I had the same issue with the second Bourne film, because it was very choppy, quick, jerky. And some people, I've said this, people, they're all like that. I'm like, no, if you watch the second one, there's just something about the editing. It's very tight, quick cuts, and it's a bit.
Yeah.
And but then, I mean, I watched about 2 years ago. I watched on Her Majesty's Secret Service. I'm supposed to be a Bond fan. I'm getting the title wrong. The George Lazenby one, and do you know what? It's not as bad as I remember it being. But what's interesting is when you look back on that, they after Sean Connery departed, they got George Lazenby in, who was a model, and he actually said he only ever wanted to do one Bond film. Interestingly, to really reinforce that point, when he showed up for the premiere, he showed up with long hair and a beard, despite like Albert R. Broccoli and all that saying to him, please show up looking like Bond for the premiere. But they tried to make it a bit more realistic than the previous Connery films. So they did sort of have a little go at that, and then of course they brought Sean Connery back for the next film before Roger Moore. But no, I can completely understand though to what you were saying about the Daniel Craig. I get why there will be people who maybe aren't fans of classic Bond but love the Craig era, and vice versa, and people who like it all, because they're so different. The only thing I found a bit weird with the Daniel Craig era, it's a bit arse about face, because of course you have Judi Dench as M, so sort of Judi Dench is back as M, and she came in as M in GoldenEye, and then she sort of forget the name of the film. It's the one Skyfall. She goes on, and then because apparently you can't say that word on the internet now, and then the character comes in as M, who's like, so sort of in reverse order. So it's like Judi Dench is then replaced by the guy who's very much, it's because it did confuse me a bit when I first watched it, because I was like, why is Judi Dench in this if it's a completely different universe? But Skyfall, I found that film, it very much, so you'd sort of had Casino Royale, then it was Quantum of Solace, wasn't it, if I recall? Then Skyfall was very much, you had the Aston Martin in it, and I know he won that in Casino Royale, but then the Aston shows up, and it's got the machine guns and the rockets and all that, and it's like, and I appreciate it was on a year. I can answer that in a second. I appreciate it was on a year of an anniversary of Bond, so they did insert some of the classic Bond tropes into that film, which I personally felt a little bit out of place in that series, because it just seemed a bit weird to suddenly have that. Just my personal thing. Still an enjoyable film. I love the Mythbusters episode where they're recreating traps that he set in the Skyfall Manor, and like with like the shotgun shells under the floorboards and stuff.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
It's really good. I won't ruin it for you then. It's good. Watch it.
Okay, cool.
Where does George Lazenby fall on the favourite Bond list? Sadly, he's my least favourite, but I don't think he did a terrible job. I think he got a lot more hate than he should have. He shouldn't have got any hate.
Tim, do you want to go? Do you want to go back over some of these comments, or do you want me to do it?
Can you do it?
Yep. So let's just go back.
We've got Dean in the chat now. All things 80s.
Right. Let's go back. Let's go back, and we'll catch up with everything.
And Zentar and Soda Cauldron are in the chat now as well.
Yeah.
So how far back should we go to?
That's all right. I'll just whiz through these quickly. Reading Movies is saying that Alan Dean Foster wrote novelizations of the Star Trek cartoon in the 70s and the new J.J. Abrams Trek as well. Zantara saying hello back to Gerard. Delvian says that Disney wasn't paying Alan Dean Foster royalties when they were reprinting all of his past work, which is a shame, but not particularly surprising.
Not shocking for Disney.
No. Andrew's saying to Delvian he believes that that recently various writers were trying to organise to get paid from Disney, but yes, I mean, I imagine that's like trying to get blood out of a stone with them. Andrew's saying that Dark Horse did some fun stuff with the Star Wars license, and he's enjoying what Marvel Comics are doing with the stories. Nothing of substance, but a fun visit into the old world. And Andrew also says that the G.I. Joe novelization by Max Allan Collins for the live action movie did not have any pictures. Ben is saying he chuckles at the opposite reading of Indy chasing Hitler into the future as Solo in Star Wars because of the Mr. Bronson actor being in both franchises, right? Yeah. Gerard's made an interesting comment here. He said he loves the scene in E.T. where he recognizes some of the kids' actions Star Wars figures as he came across the real deal in his travels of the universe. I hadn't noticed that, actually. I was planning on rewatching E.T. At some point soon, so I'll keep my eyes open for that, Gerard.
Yeah, at somewhere at the beginning of the movie when Elliot fakes staying home from fakes being sick to stay home from school to spend time with E.T.
Yeah.
Elliot shows E.T. a bunch of his Star Wars action figures. But then later on in the movie, they go trick-or-treating with E.T. and they see all these people in costume. And there's one kid in costume as Yoda, and then E.T.'s under this sheet as a ghost. He starts walking up to the person in the Yoda costume and goes, "Home, home, home."
Excellent. Yeah, I'm going to have to check that out again soon. I bought E.T. A number of months ago. Again, the special edition, but I haven't got around to watching it yet. Soda's saying we could order them in school from a book club. Okay. And he's saying that he got a load of Asterix books alongside Ghostbusters and Indiana Jones, and also a Knight Rider album. Yeah, those book clubs were great at school. I used to love getting books from those.
I got Power Rangers books from those.
Power Rangers is too much after my time. That was something my oldest niece, liked to watch when she was a little girl.
Okay.
My childhood was very much Ninja Turtles, then boom, Power Rangers happened. It was huge.
I completely missed out on Power Rangers. I must say, I've got no knowledge of Power Rangers at all. I know there are different color ones, and that's where my knowledge ends, I'm afraid.
I was in high school by the time it was popular, and I think it was on the air, so it just wasn't something I could get into.
Reading Movies is saying to Ben that The Last Crusade has got the actor that played General Veers too. I guess that's Mr. Bronson from Grange Hill. Andrew saying
I thought they meant Charles Bronson.
Oh, no. Mr. Bronson, the headmaster from Grange Hill.
Okay. Because I was wondering, Charles Bronson from Death Wish was in Star Wars?
Andrew's saying that Predator's got some fun cross-movie Easter eggs. I seem to remember there's been some various kind of references in the Predator movies to stuff like aliens and with all the skulls, the different skulls and stuff. And then Dean says hello there. So hello to you, Dean. Thanks for joining us, man. Ben's saying hello to Dean. Zantara asked about George Lazenby, and she wanted to know where he fell on the favourite Bond list. I would say, yeah, probably bottom, unfortunately. I would agree with Nick on that. Gerard saying hello to Dean. Dean saying hello to Gerard. Andrew saying that Roger Moore doing a James Bond character in the Cannonball Run was fun. I don't remember that, but then I don't think I've seen the Cannonball Run since I was a boy.
Yeah, there's multiple movies of that, and then there's, I think it was either a third one or fourth one might have been made for cable, but it wasn't called last one wasn't called Cannonball Run at all. It was called something else.
Yeah, I haven't seen that for a long time.
But I think Jamie.
What was the sequel to Cannonball Run?
Well, there's Cannonball Run 2 and 3, and then I think there was a fourth one, but it had Jamie Farr, who played Klinger on TV's MASH, played the Sheik in all of the movies.
Right. I remember him from MASH, but I don't remember him in those movies. Soda saying
Yeah, he
that
played the
Roger Moore,
Sheik, but you wouldn't recognize him because he might have had a beard added.
Oh, okay. Soda saying that the scene with Roger Moore running over the crocodiles doesn't look as impressive in HD. And Andrew saying that he's got the same issue with Transformers in terms of that the CGI was so messy that it was just confusing, and it was difficult to tell which robot was which. Yeah, I would agree with that. Those Transformers films are a hot mess. It's very
You're a hot
very
mess.
complicated. it's that, yeah, they are complicated to look at. And I think that some of the transformations were just, I mean, I get that they were trying to go for some kind of realism, and I appreciate that real world Transformers would be complicated, but they just seemed unnecessarily complicated. There were so many moving parts and stuff. It could have just done with being a bit simpler, in my opinion. Andrew saying, go classic Japanese style, one guy in a rubber suit stepping on models and punching a guy in a different rubber suit. Zantara saying that she likes Daniel Craig as Bond, but she says that Spectre is not only her most hated Bond film, but one of the worst theatrical movies she's ever seen. Okay. Wow. Okay. Gerard saying the opening scene involving the parkour chase in a recent Bond was so good. Edge of seat stuff. I think that's the one at the beginning of Casino Royale. Is that the one you mean, Gerard, where he climbs up the crane and they're running on the crane? Andrew's saying he's not a big Bond guy, but he likes how it shows the audience can accept different actors playing the same role, and he wants Marvel to take note. Gerard says sorry, go on.
I'd like Disney to take note. I mean, I just don't think Indiana Jones should die with Harrison Ford. There's plenty of people who could play Indiana Jones. There you go. I said it. Unpopular opinion with many, but I believe that.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think the franchise is too strong. I mean, you could argue that Harrison Ford, much as I love the guy, you could argue that he probably shouldn't have been in the last two Indiana Jones movies.
I would absolutely agree, and I think make them standalone-ish, make them standalone movies again. Make them one shot for films like they were intended to be in the first place.
I think
his answer to Bond
with Indiana Jones.
Yeah, I think there's good merit to that. Absolutely.
Let me just catch up with these. Hang on. Gerard saying, no, you're right. Let me just catch up with these. Otherwise, we'll get really far behind. Gerard says that the best Bond theme song was the Snake Eater song in Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater video game.
I remember that.
Kojima's nod to Bond movies. Don't know that.
Hideo Kojima did a sort of tribute-y Bond-esque song in the game. It was cool. It was very, very Bondy. It was very much a nod to the classic style of Bond theme.
Okay. Andrew's saying to Gerard that he never watched the show, but he loved Henry Mancini's Peter Gunn theme. Okay. And Gerard is saying, Andrew is saying to Gerard, I saw District 13 in the theaters. If you like parkour, check it out. I haven't seen District 13, but I have heard that there's some good parkour scenes in that. Kim Gonick joining us. Good evening, Kim.
Evening.
Ben is saying to Andrew that he feels
the little boys' room
about about Michael Bay Transformers. Oh, sorry, I was reading the comment. I didn't actually see that Kim had actually popped up. Hello, Potato. Good evening, Kim.
Evening all.
Yeah, I've got to use the bathroom as well.
Okay.
Sorry.
Let's have a look. Yeah, sorry. Ben was agreeing with Andrew about the Transformers being very busy animation and extreme camera angles, and probably a lot of details were missed. Zantara said the third Cannonball film was called Speed Zone with John Candy. Okay. And Reading Movies is saying what Tim said about that he points to a kid dressed as Yoda. Phantom Menace then repeats the link by having ETs in the council chamber. Yeah. Johnny Sorensen, hello mate. Thanks for stopping by. And he's saying, in my worst Arnold Schwarzenegger impression, "Oh, Bennett, let off some steam, chill out." I don't quite know where that came from, but that is a great line. Commando is fantastic. Gerard's saying that he enjoyed District 13. Andrew is saying that to Zantara that he has walked out of a few movies, usually second-run theatres, but life is too short. Gerard O'Connor is saying overall the Bayformers were extremely disappointing, but the fifth movie he thinks hit the mark well enough. I haven't seen the fifth one, so I will maybe give that a chance. Ben is saying to Gerard he agrees about District 13. Also, Chappie and Elysium are worth a watch. I watched Elysium a couple of months ago. I thought it was pretty good. I liked what's her name? The woman that played Clarice Starling in Hannibal Lecter, in the Hannibal Lecter films.
Jodie Foster.
That's it, Jodie Foster. Yeah, I thought she was good in Elysium. Andrew saying, it's jumping. Andrew's just saying to Ben that it makes him feel old, but he guesses they just have to make movies for the kids. Gerard is saying good evening to Kim. Dean is saying breaking news. He saw Batman 89 a couple of days ago. It was all right.
You want to get nuts?
Well, I'm really happy you've seen it, Dean. And I mean, yeah, it is all right. Yeah, it is a good film. I mean,
Lando
Batman
Calrissian as
no Batman, really.
As Harvey Dent.
Well, I'm very pleased you've seen it, Dean. Batman Returns is worth a look as well if you haven't seen that one yet. Andrew's saying he remembers when Lethal Weapon 4 came out. Many of the old people complained it had too many edits. Edits are going faster and faster. Soon it will just be a strobe effect for 3 hours. Gerard is saying he feels that he attempts parkour every time he walks home from the pub. and Andrew is saying to Dean, you have quite a few Batman movies to catch up on. And we have caught up on the chat. Hey Kim, how you doing? How was your New Year?
Yeah, it was fine. Nothing massively exciting.
Oh, apparently you did a live chat with Nick and some fool that fell asleep.
Yeah, but they all made it to 12, so it's okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't remember it. The only thing that sticks out in my mind is Neil is Nick drilling himself in the eye with that.
Oh yeah, because he's an idiot.
It sounds far more dramatic than it actually was. I will just say.
It was quite good though.
I did make a big pot of soup and some chili.
Ooh,
Yeah.
ooh, nice. Did you put kidney beans in your chili?
Yes.
Hey.
You win then. You win at life.
Always kidney beans in the chili.
Yeah.
See, my older sister won't put kidney beans in chili, and I'm like,
Well, it's not chili.
You're a heathen. There's something wrong with you.
Then it's not chili. It's just like a weird spicy beef thing.
Yeah, I know. I've told her this.
Nope, we had big bowls of chili with some cheese and some fresh raw onion, some crushed up tortilla chips, and then a big dollop of sour cream.
Nice.
It was good.
Nice.
You said you had raw onions as well, didn't you?
Huh?
Well, you messaged me to say you were having a bowl of chili with everything you said, but with raw onions, and I was like, I've never done that before. That sounds amazing.
I sprinkle raw onions on the top of it.
Regular onions or red onions?
White onions.
White onions, okay.
Yeah.
Would you ever consider a mixture of the two for the sweetness and the bite?
No, because I feel like red onion is there for like salads and tuna mayo and things like that for the sweetness, but I feel chili needs the strength of a white onion. And plus, when
you say white onion, do you mean brown onion?
Well, when you take the tanned coating off of it, it's white.
Yeah, but you can get white onions as well, which are even sweeter than red onions, and they're lovely.
Yeah, but when I say white onion, it's like your regular onion.
A regular, yeah, okay.
Because when you,
So boring fact here. Really. Boring but relevant fact to the conversation. The only onions my wife ever buys is red onions, but I do love going to my mother's house and having a traditional white onion. Nice. Slab of cheese in freshly cut bread, thick slices of onion.
Nice.
That's winning.
No, that sounds weird.
With real butter.
When we say real butter, do you basically mean Lurpak?
No, I mean my mum always has a proper block of real salted butter.
Or does she make butter?
No, my mum buys like a block of proper salted butter and she has it in a butter thing.
See, I don't like salted butter. Not salted butter. I like unsalted butter.
Oh, I like a nice salted pack.
But then I put a lot of salt in my food, so I don't then need salted butter on top of it.
Yeah, I never.
I mean, the cheese I eat. The cheese at my mum's house has normally got, you know, when you get a really mature cheddar that you bite into,
love
and
an
it's
extra
got
mature
chunks of salt in it, and the sort that when they hit your mouth, they make you go. That's
yeah. Well, that's why I like putting like a regular normal onion, like raw onion, on top of chili, because when you get the bite of it, like when you sweat down onion in general, it goes sweeter anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So then you get the sort of tart bite of the actual proper onion when you're eating a bowl of chili.
Yeah, I haven't actually tried onion with chili, so I might have to give that a go at some point. I mean, I very rarely prepare any food, so I'll probably have to buy.
Yeah, do you know what though? I just bunged all of my stuff for the chili into my slow cooker, and I switched it on last night and went to bed.
It
was ready by lunchtime.
So enjoy your dog walking, Gerard. He's still listening, but he's off for a doggy walk. Dean is saying that he liked Jack Nicholson's Joker, but he did find himself looking at his watch quite a lot during Batman '89. But he said that's not to say that he didn't enjoy it. Yeah, I mean it's one of those movies where you can watch it now and you can still appreciate it, but back when it came out, it really was quite the thing, because it was a dark, brooding Batman that we hadn't really seen before outside of the graphic novels. So it really did make quite an impact when it first came out. And I must say, although I do remember watching the Batman TV show when I was younger, Batman '89 really, that's my Batman. That really appealed to me. The dark, dark nature of it.
So if I can give you
go on.
Sorry, I don't want to cut you off there. Sorry, dude.
Yeah, okay.
Really early memory for me. So obviously 89. I'm 4 at this point, 5. And I can remember my mum, ridiculous story, but my mum used to work night shift in a nursing home. And sort of those days, so would have probably been around 1990, 91, because Batman 89 was on Sky Movies. We were quite lucky we had Sky. That's one thing we did have. And my mum had this big leather jacket, and I used to forever put this thing on to play Batman in, because it was like black and leather and cool. And and I can remember my mum, like, I just remember this one night that I was playing Batman. I was really upset because she had to go to work, and I wanted to carry on playing Batman. And I remember her leaving me with her jacket, and my sisters making me a Batman mask. My older sisters. It's just a memory I have. I was probably running around with nothing more than a pair of pants and socks on, a leather jacket, and a probably a very terrible mask, like jumping off. I can remember jumping off of the sofa and stuff. It's just a memory I have.
Oh, that's cool. And it's quite a coincidence that both our mums were working night shifts at nursing homes in 89. Quite bizarre.
There you go.
And also that you regularly holiday in the town that I grew up in.
I'm going back to that town in August. I go there every year. Every year.
Wow. Okay, take some pictures of the seafront and stuff and the main street.
Oh, well, actually, this time I'm staying outside of Paignton, but there's no way in hell I won't go to Paignton at least once or twice while I'm there.
Oh, cool.
I love it. I've often said to Carla, I appreciate when you move somewhere, it's not the same as holidaying there, because life becomes real and it's no longer the holiday. But it's such a lovely area that I love Dorset. But if I couldn't live in Dorset, I could live there, because it's better. But then it's quite similar to Dorset as well, so the sea and the rural bits and that. So it's very similar to what I know. But I love it there, because I just don't think Jax is old enough to take abroad yet. So. But it's nice because you can jump in the car, 2.5 hour drive, and you're somewhere. I always say that I'm not on. If I go, I don't mind going on holiday in this country, but I have to go further enough that I'm not going to see a work van for the company I work for. Because if I see a work van for the company I work for, and there's a lot of us, that kind of takes away the mystique of holiday. Because every year when we drive back, we get to a certain point where I know we're coming into our border, which isn't far out of it. And I'm like, oh, there's a work van. The dream is shattered.
Oh, well.
And there's the ramblings of a madman.
Okay, let's just check out what we've got going on here. Oh, Dean's saying he did enjoy the Christian Bale trilogy. I didn't know you'd seen those ones, Dean. Because Ben was just saying that he suggests jumping from Batman Returns straight to the Christian Bale reboots. Yeah, Batman and Robin wasn't very good at all.
I really liked the Batman. And I dare I say it, I thought Robert Pattinson was a good Batman. It's very different to every other Batman film we've ever had. I loved it. I saw it at the cinema. Didn't know it was going to be as long as it was.
Yeah, it's pretty long. The first 2 acts I thought were great. Really enjoyed it. I thought the third act let it down a bit. But overall,
pacing struggled a bit.
Yeah, but I did enjoy the Pattinson Batman. Zantara's saying that she likes Dark Batman, but she's in the minority. She finds Batman 89 and Nicholson's Joker to be dreadful. Okay.
That's fair.
Okay.
The Batman film, though, there's one scene in it I really like, and it shows the intelligence of Selena Kyle, Catwoman. Which she's breaking into, wherever she's breaking into, if I recall, to get her friend's passport. and she goes in there, and Robert Pattinson's there, and she sort of starts throwing all these kicks at him, and he sort of tries to leg sweep him, and realizes I can't beat this guy. He's just like, he's so skilled. And she's just really clever, because then she just goes on to you can just see her intelligence shift of how clever she is, because she can beat literally anyone else, but this is Batman. She'll beat any other bloke in that film, hands down. She's hard as nails. But it's just the way she sort of like tries to, well, it doesn't try, it's just this cluster of kicks and everything, and you can see that you can see how well she adapts to her environment. Like, can't beat him, but I can confuse him to try and get away. I mean, incidentally, he ends up having to silence her because the police come in and everything. But it's just little touches. I mean, maybe I overanalyze films, but I love that touch, because you see how intelligent she is, because she sees, I can't win this physically, but I can be smarter, even though it sort of culminates in the scene where it's just how intelligent she is. I love that they made her so like awesome, you know, because the only person who could rival her in that film was Batman. Let's face it, and that's Batman. It's nothing to be ashamed of if you can't beat Batman, is there? It's Batman.
Yeah, I mean that's a fair assessment, I think, of it. I mean, I didn't really like the Catwoman character. I thought the character design was poor. I didn't like the way she looked, and I thought that some of her scenes,
they could have done better with the balaclava thing. I do agree there.
I didn't like that. I thought that was a bit lazy, and I didn't like the look of it. But I also think that most of her scenes were superfluous. I really didn't think they were necessary. I think maybe for a sequel to the Batman, she could have maybe had more of a part to play, but I didn't think it was necessary. I think it was throwing too much at the audience, really. But I mean, I've only seen it once, so I'll give it another go.
I've seen it probably 3 times now. Once at the cinema. Me and Carla watched it when it first came out on Sky, but we watched it. Carla won't do a 3-hour film, so we watched it over 2 nights. Literally broke it at an hour and a half point. Come back the next night, and I watched it again not that long ago when I was off work on my own. But it's interesting how we have different views on characters, because I thought Selina Kyle, and it was brilliant, because there's obviously a lot of tension between her and Batman, the old love tension. You can sense that, but I like that she's proper. I know Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman was formidable, but like I just like how brilliant she was as a character. Like she's like, you get the feeling that she probably, if Batman wasn't around, probably could have resolved that situation in different ways, but you get the feeling that she could have probably got through that somehow. You know, she'd have found a way, because she's so flipping intelligent. She's so smart.
Right.
I really like that. I like it when they stick a. I like it when they just make the character like what they should be, like smart, formidable, amazing. And I thought Robert Pattinson as Batman. So I remember, I didn't know much about it until probably a week before I went to see it. Didn't look much in, and I agreed to see it with my cousin, because when we got to the cinema, I was it's like 3 hours. I was like, Jesus Christ, you dragged me to a 3-hour film. I don't do 3-hour films at the cinema. But I did, and I enjoyed every minute of it. But I like that he's obviously hard as nails, but I just like the way, because it's more of it's sort of like it's a proper sort of detective movie, isn't it? It's there's action, yes, there's fighting, yes, Selina Kyle's hard as nails, Batman's hard as nails, but I like the fact that it's not purely focused on all the out and out fighting. It's focused on like properly solving, what they say, it's like crime noir films. It's a proper crime film with a proper something needs to be solved.
Yeah, you know, and actually, I think that's the first Batman film that's really done that.
Oh, absolutely, fantastic film.
I really like that. I avoided it when it came out in the cinema, because as soon as I heard Robert Pattinson was going to be Batman, I just thought, oh no, not the Twilight guy, and I I just dismissed it, and I thought, no, I don't want to see that. And then a friend of mine saw it and said, actually, it's really good. This is a proper, like you said, Nick, a sort of proper noir detective story. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I will give it a go then, because that's kind of what Batman was supposed to be, and we haven't seen that yet. So
well, he's the detective, isn't he? And he is in this film. He is a detective.
Yeah. So I look forward to the next one. I mean, I haven't.
Yeah, me too, man.
But I've got high hopes for that, actually, because I thought that was done really well. As I say, the third act did let it down a bit. I felt that there was a bit anticlimactic. It didn't quite pay off as I was hoping. But
I do think they could have trimmed half an hour off that film easily. I mean, as good as it is, they could have trimmed a bit more out of it just to keep the pacing up towards the end.
Yeah.
All in all, B+.
Let's have a look where we are. Andrew's saying, I don't know if they had underoos in the UK, but they were licensed thermal undergarments for kids. You could put on Batman's pants, as you saw, and run around with a matching T-shirt. Okay. Don't think we had those in the UK. Gerard is saying that the late great Kevin Conroy is his Batman, although voiced animation, the best Batman.
I was going to say he's the voice guy, wasn't he? Who passed away.
Yep.
Recently.
Andrew's agreeing with Gerard. TJC is saying cheers to Dean and also Andrew. Andrew's saying stand up John Pinette, who is now passed, used to do a bit where he did an impression of character actor Hervé Villechaize from Fantasy Island as Batman. I'm not familiar with Fantasy Island, I'm afraid. Don't know about that. Andrew is saying to Kim that Super Potato was very memorable.
I'd like to see a return of Super Potato one day.
Yeah. Super Potato is a good one. Soda's saying that Paignton was his first holiday ever. There was an arcade on a corner opposite a joke shop near the pier front walk. Right.
Still all there, I believe.
Yeah.
It's just full of arcades and jokey shops.
Yeah,
brilliant. Paignton hasn't changed.
Yeah. It always used to go down the joke shops and arcades. I mean, that's what TJC. What I did when I was a kid. It was great down there. Gerard saying that Batfleck deserved more love, in his opinion.
Ben Affleck was a good Batman.
Yeah, I don't think he was terrible. I think he was all right.
I love the scene in the warehouse where it's that scene where that guy shoots him in the head, and obviously his armor protects it, and he's proper angry, and he's just like, oh, and then he just slams him, and then he like, it's like Batman, it's sort of known for not, well, in some iterations known for not really killing, but it's when he's like shooting the grappling gun at the crates and smashing them into people. It's like, because Affleck, like, whereas Robert Pattinson's very sort of slim, like he looks big in the suit, but he's slimline, isn't he? He's quite a slender guy. But Batfleck was like, I'm hard, I'm gonna crush you, and he's just like,
he was pretty hench.
I think I know I wasn't very keen on the Martha scene. Why you say that name? But I do like it when he basically beats the crap out of Superman, when his mask is all busted up and he gets that like spear with the kryptonite on it. And it's like, again, it's like the Selena Kyle Batman scenario I was just talking about, he realizes he can't really. Physically, he beats him up, but only because of the intelligence levels. Like, well, I can't take this guy in a fist fight.
Yeah.
Without using my brains, and I love any character that like overcomes sheer physical threat with just like using their brain. I just like so clever, and it's just a bit where he like wraps him around the bit where he's punching Superman in the face, and then obviously that like kryptonite powder starts to wear off, and he's like, and then he just starts dunk, dunk. It's like. Just that moment of, oh, brilliant. But yeah, no, sorry, I'm waffling. I do like Batman the character a lot though. So I love all the different versions. They've all got their own place.
Let's have a look. Gerard's saying, "Why did you say that name?
Why did you say that name, Martha? It's his mum." Great film. Not a great film. It's not a bad film. I mean,
yeah.
You guys?
I've seen it twice. And I didn't like it anymore the second time, but I didn't like it less. So,
I watched the Snyder cut of the one. What do they call it? Where they all come together, like the 4
Justice
actors,
League.
like. And again, I watched that over a couple of days because I ain't sitting down for that long. I ain't got the attention span. But I did like the Snyder cut of that. It was because I've seen both versions, and I did think that was the better cut. But you can understand that. Well, they could have done it in the cinemas if they'd have done it over 2 films, but. I just don't think DC films have ever really hit their stride. They've sort of tried to catch that Marvel thing. That sort of like, because I don't even think Marvel are succeeding where they were, going back when they built it up, and I don't think they'll ever catch it again.
Really dropped off. It's dropped off, hasn't it? I think they've. I mean, it's. I think the legs of Marvel films probably ran out about 5 films ago, and they've still been churning them out. And you do have to wonder when this whole superhero thing is going to die out, because superhero films have almost, well, I guess they are their own genre, but they certainly 20 years ago there were superhero films, but it wasn't a machine like it is now.
No, I mean, I think if you go back that time frame, what did you have? You had the Blade films, which I think, Batman '89, and that's longer than 20 years ago. That certainly did show. I believe that showed people in Hollywood that people are prepared to accept. I know it looks more comic booky now, but I think in '89 that was very different to any Batman we'd ever seen. So I think that showed studios, hey, people will take it without it being Adam West campy sort of films. And then you sort of had, I think, Blade, the first Blade movie. I think that was absolutely incredible, and I think that again showed you can have a movie played dead straight, dead serious, and violent and brutal. And then of course, but around that time 20 years ago, I mean, you had like the Fantastic Four and Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer. I didn't really like that one, but I like the first Fantastic Four film. I guess that's around 20 years ago. Must be getting close to it, if not around that time.
Possibly, yeah. I haven't seen Silver Surfer.
But out of all the Marvel films, I think the only, of course, we had Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man as well. We had the Spider-Man trilogy, the Sam Raimi films. I actually think all 3 of them are good. Obviously, the third one I would say is the weakest one, but I didn't think it was as terrible as people say it was. So yeah, the superhero films, they did good, but now that I think Marvel did great in their first stride. The only Marvel film in the sort of lead up to Infinity War that I've struggled with and I've watched in about 6 parts because I've never managed to get through it without falling asleep is probably actually the first Thor film. I just don't connect that. Second one I enjoyed. I know. I just can't. I don't get why my brain
weird.
doesn't connect with
I like
that
the first
one.
I was like that with the second one. The first one was fine. The second one I tried, I think 3 times to watch, and I kept falling asleep with the second one. But
It's funny
Thor
what
Ragnarok
grabs our
was
brains.
absolutely brilliant. Ragnarok was a great film.
Now, oh yeah, the Dolph Lundgren Punisher movie, 1990. Good shouts, Antara. Yeah, that was that. And then you had the sort of, yeah, I always forget about that one. But really good shout there. Howard the Duck. There's a big history of these films, and there's a lot more buried back. If we really dug into it, we'd probably find more that have slipped our consciousness. Because I think the thing is, with this massive train of Marvel films, certainly up to the Infinity Saga, if you want to call it that, I think that's what they call it. I think we all got so hooked on that, it's easy to maybe forget some of the superhero films that came before. But the one thing I would say, and I know they've sort of taken them out, they were in continuity, at least in the series. I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I really enjoyed, like, on Netflix, Jessica Jones. I loved Daredevil, and I know that's coming back. As to how that's done with Disney doing it, I don't know. Loved Luke Cage. Well worth watching. The Defenders series. Punisher. Oh wow, it's so brutal. There's a famous scene in the Daredevil series where it always gets spoke about in sort of nerdy circles. It's in Daredevil where it's like now supposedly it's a continuous shot of them filming him fighting through this hallway, a really long scene. It's not actually a continuous shot. They were very clever with how they edited it, but it looks like a continuous shot. I only found that out recently, but it's Daredevil. Honestly, Monkey, I would say definitely give him a go. Jessica Jones, because in those, because obviously there's the more sort of B or C level superheroes around New York and everything, and they've all got they all come together in the series Defenders. Punisher's not in it, which is a shame, but they sort of all their seasons lead up to sort of this big meet up series, and of course I love Sigourney Weaver. I think I've told you that before. Big fan of Sigourney. And she's one of the bad guys in it, and well worth a watch, man. Well worth a watch. Of course, Xantara. I know it's not Xantara and the Phantom, Billy Zane, 96, interesting and completely forgotten. Yeah. But for an old TV series, does anyone remember? It may have been early 80s, late 80s, early 90s. The Flash TV series they did.
Yeah, I remember that. It was on for like 1 season, I think.
I remember that coming out on Sky One, and my dad would record it for me on VHS. And
talk
I believe that
while I go for a Jimmy Riddle.
No problem. I believe that the guy who played the Flash in that series actually played Barry Allen's dad. Was it in the CW series of the Flash? So. I didn't mind the CW series of The Flash, but I didn't get into the full Arrowverse, as they call it. But I forget how much nerdy stuff I watched him. I really do. Just watch it and forget how involved I get with it. But Kim, I know you're not always the biggest fan of Are there any superhero films you've ever watched over the years? Any that you've ever enjoyed?
No.
No, that's fair enough. It's
like I watch them and they're all right, but I don't get the hype.
I think for me, I mean, it's just growing up with the comic stuff and sort of being able to see it on on screen.
Yeah,
I mean, I
it's
was
like,
never the biggest comic buff as a kid, but I certainly had comics.
like I watched the Avenger movies, and I was just like, do you know when you get so far and you're like, oh, there's like another one to go, and you're like, well, I've started it now, so kind of got to finish it.
See, Carla has watched most of the Infinity Saga. Obviously, you know, it's my wife, in case anyone who doesn't know, I mention her a lot. She doesn't like all the films in that series. She's very selective. Obviously, she likes the 4 films because she's very shallow. Even I think 4's hot. And she loved the Ant-Man movies. She was a big fan of the Ant-Man movies. In fact, she went to the cinema and watched Ant-Man and the Wasp with her friends. She loved that. But
do you know what though? I can't stand Captain America.
He's an interesting character.
Both. I feel like he's just got a face I want to punch.
Oh,
poor Steve.
No, but I kind of feel like it does. It's like Captain America. Oh, look, I've got pecs and I'm super handsome and I throw a shield about. Like, really, just punch in the face.
Pretty good with that shield, though. But he didn't start. Obviously, the super serum was what made him buff. I don't know.
So basically, he was just a human experiment.
Yeah, but then it's same for like so many super.
But again, this is why I just look at people about superheroes. Is they're made out to be so goody, but they're really not. They're just really arrogant.
I think Spider-Man is sort of I think Peter Parker's a sort of. I don't think Peter Parker's a bad guy. I mean, see there's a lot of egotistical superheroes, of course.
I preferred the Tobey Maguire films because they were closer to the comics, but also in the nicest way possible. And I know it's in the comics, but if you're going to get bitten by a radioactive spider, right? Why on earth would having web shooters not just be part of your anatomy? Would that not be the single thing that you would want instead of having to make it?
Well, I believe for the Andrew Garfield movies, when he had to, because it wasn't always. Now, there's different iterations of Spider-Man. Certainly in the nine, I'm sure Tim and Dave remember the 90s Spider-Man cartoon, the really huge one that was like had the theme Spider-Man down.
I'm not familiar. I know there was one, but I didn't really watch the 90s one. I watched the 80s one and I watched the 60s one.
In it, that was a Spider-Man which was sort of a continued, rather than sort of one-off cartoons. It was like a ongoing series building to stuff. And you had a couple of cameos in there of other characters. Blade was in it, and I believe Wolverine was in an episode, and so it was in the same continuity, I believe, as the X-Men cartoons, if memory serves. I'm digging deep back into the childhood brain here.
Right, I didn't realize Blade was in it.
Yeah, Blade was in it, and Morpheus was in it, and I think there were a few. I think Fantastic Four may have. Do not quote me on that. That could be confusion of all the cartoons I've seen. But Spider-Man's mutation in that the whole thing was his mutation was starting to get out of control. So he started to grow more arms and become more like human Spider-esque. So he had to create a serum to keep that back at bay. But I think when you go from the Tobey Maguire films where he did have web shooters, and there's a funny scene in the film they did with Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire, and Tom Holland, where they comment on the fact he can shoot web can you shoot it from anywhere else? But I believe Andrew Garfield not being able to have organic web was something as simple as copyright, because they had to have certain differences from the Sony films.
Oh, right.
So I
thought it was because it wasn't written that he had that naturally.
Well, in the comics, no, I believe it wasn't originally, but I believe
but this is what I mean. If you're going to, but this is what I mean. Even in the comics, if you're going to get bitten by a radioactive spider, would that not be the one thing you'd want?
Yeah, but as I was going to say, the comics, all the when you look at the earliest iteration of most of these superhero comics, they certainly were not as dark, and they were certainly not as graphic as comics have become. And there's so many different versions of all these characters now. Dare I say, and there'll be people far more knowledgeable than me, but Spider-Man has developed organic web in certain iterations, certain tellings of the story.
That's not dark though.
There are some really dark.
Yeah, but being able to shoot webs from your wrists is not really dark, particularly.
Yeah, but that's not what I'm saying. I'm not referring to him being able to shoot web as being dark. I'm talking about the original comics were a lot more naive. They were a lot more aimed at younger children, and perhaps some of these ideas were maybe not as developed as they once were. I mean, I believe the original origin. I mean, when you look back at most of these characters, like Wolverine, he's changed quite a bit. But then, I mean, it's hard to know without being a true comic historian as to where these abilities start and where they end. They're so. I mean, it's vast.
Yeah, well, it's like my friend had all the X-Men comics, and she hates the films. She can't stand the films because none of the origin stories are true. They've completely moved away from the actual stories from the comic books.
But interestingly to that, though, I mean, all the different versions of the comics, cartoons, and that have all now been assigned their own, I believe, universe. They've all got their own different numbers, and they're all part of now the multiverse as such. So the theory being that every version, every comic line exists, every cartoon line, every film line exists in their own parallel universe, and that's how they've got around this now. And that's why when in this film with like Maguire and Garfield and Holland, you know, when they did that film, the universe is sort of bled into each other, because that's why you had like Doc Ock appear in it and that's where Marvel, certainly in the new cinematic stage, they're going for the multiverse, because it opens up a lot of possibilities. It opens up bringing back dead characters. It opens up recasting people without having to explain it.
That's just lazy writing.
I mean, it is lazy. It's got some advantages, and it does open up the possibilities for things. But then it also has delivered us a Supergirl that, in my opinion, was really not the Supergirl I was wanting to see.
To be honest, I'm so
I realize
bored.
that's decent.
I'm just so bored of Superman, or like superhero films and superhero stories. Like, it's the same with the zombie thing. I'm so done. So done with zombies. So done with superheroes.
I think that's a product of Hollywood, though, isn't it? Because whenever anything sort of catches its stride and it has a success,
yeah, it's just
then
so
they
boring.
will milk that cow until it is dry, and then they'll come back a few years later and see if that cow's built up any more milk, you know, and they'll do a retelling. I mean, zombie films are certainly not a new genre by any stretch of the imagination.
I also feel like I don't want to harp on, but Ben had a question, and I don't want to ignore his question.
Yeah. Do you mean about what TV series we're looking forward to this year?
TVs are I just didn't want to ignore his question.
Yeah, TV or film that we're looking forward to this year, and I want to see Dune 2.
Okay. I hadn't seen Dune.
Yeah, and
sorry, Tim.
And I'm sorry I don't have any Batman action figures to help set the mood, since we had been talking about Batman so much.
Sorry, we went down that path.
What about you guys? Is there any TV shows or films that you're looking forward to this year?
Quite a few films that will be coming out this year that I think will be interesting.
Okay, such as?
Gladiator 2 is due to come out, and it's still going to be directed by Ridley Scott.
Oh, okay.
I'm intrigued to see how that works.
Well, they've kind of gone down a bit of a rabbit hole storyline, which I don't necessarily agree with, but I'll still give it a go. Kung Fu Panda 4, and everybody loves Kung Fu Panda.
I've got nothing film wise. That
Beetlejuice 2 is coming out this year.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
I'm so very. I appreciate a sequel doesn't ruin an original, but I just hope they. Beetlejuice is a very loved film. From that's one of those films I probably shouldn't have watched as young as I did.
Do you know what though? I watched it at Christmas, and I don't think the sequel will do anything to the original because so much time has passed.
No, I know.
It'll just be a different story.
Yeah, I get that, but there'll always be. Sometimes it's hard to separate when you have such a it's a film which is probably as ingrained into me as like something like Rocky Horror, so it's very.
Yeah, but I still don't think Tim Burton would have said yes. He doesn't say yes to stuff unless he thinks he can do justice on it.
No,
he said no to plenty of other things. So
I'm going to go to the cinema. Well, I'll probably wait for it to come out on Sky, actually. But I will watch it and I will give it a complete fair crack of the whip, man. 100%. I write nothing off till I see it.
Rush Hour 4 is coming out this year too.
Is it really? Are they finally?
Yes.
Is it Jackie Chan and Chris Rock?
Yes.
Awesome.
Because I feel like they can make multiple sequels and it will still be funny.
I think Rush Hour is one of those films that, providing you've got those two in it and you've got the story of was it Rush? They did 3, yeah, of course they did, because 4's come out. I think if I recall, the story for Rush Hour 3 wasn't fantastic, but those two were great, so you enjoyed it for what it was.
Do you remember the movie Twister?
Yep.
I do, because I can remember having the choice. We got to see one film a year at the cinema in the summer holidays when we were kids, because there was 5 of us and it was very expensive, and we had the choice to either see Twister or Independence Day, and I picked Independence Day and had to wait to see Twister when it came out on VHS on rental.
So are they doing another Twister?
Yeah, but it's called Twisters, so it's basically several years from the original.
Oh, I'll give that a look. It'll probably be terrible, but I mean, I'll give that a look. I think the only thing that and this is really bizarre, but the only film that I excuse me, that I heard about that I wouldn't mind watching is actually they're going to do a remake of Arachnophobia, and it's bizarre because I have a terrible fear of spiders, and I imagine I'll be shuddering throughout the whole film, but I'm quite interested in seeing how they do that, because apparently they're going down the road of mainly using real spiders, and they're not going to CGI it. They're going to actually use real spiders, which
I hope they're looking after the safety of the spiders, as much as I don't like them, but still.
Yeah, they will.
Those spiders will probably get better care than people in.
You know what though? I'd actually quite like them to make another 8-legged freaks, because see, after you watch the movie the first time, I watched it a few times, and I still get enjoyment out of watching the spiders make funny noises. Especially when one throws itself into a window and it goes down the window. I
saw that at the cinema. I believe that isn't that basically the same writer or direct. It's connected to the people who brought Ghostbusters. Isn't something? It's not in the Ghostbusters universe, but I believe it's the same director.
Yeah, but you know what? I just like the movie because parts of it are just so bad, but because it's so bad, it's so funny.
Yeah, and I was able to watch that with no problem because the spiders were all massive, and I'm not afraid of massive spiders because they can't hide under the furniture. It's the like house spiders, that sort of size that I can't deal with those. Honestly, I cannot bear them.
I mean, I don't want to detour too much from this. I will just say quickly before we get into talk of buggy films, because there's a thing I'm going to disappoint you all here. The TV series I'm looking forward to the conclusion of Yellowstone. There, I said it. I really enjoy Yellowstone.
I don't even know what that is. So,
Paramount series about a ranch, cowboys. Kevin Costner's the lead character in it. It's just really got into it. Me and Carla watched it, really enjoyed it. There's been some prequel series set in the past.
Hasn't that got Emily? Oh, isn't no? I've forgotten that. Isn't there a British actress in that? That sort of.
You mean Emily Blunt?
No.
I think I know who you mean. I'm not past Kevin Costner. I couldn't name the rest of the cast, but
it might not be. I might be getting the name wrong.
No, I think the woman who plays the daughter
Kelly
of Kevin
Riley.
Costner. I think she is an English actress.
Kelly Riley.
Kelly Riley. Yeah, that's who I meant. Yeah, she's great. I like her. I haven't seen Yellowstone, but she's a great.
She's
actress.
brilliant. She's brilliant in Yellowstone. Yeah. She's a very gritty, she's a good character. You love to hate her, but you love her all the same. Do you know what I mean? She's she's hard as nails. You know, she's one of them. She's great in it. But they did I think it was 1883 and 1903 or whatever. They've done a couple of prequel series to it, historical ones, which were showing you how the Yellowstone Ranch came, but it's good. I mean, it's not for everyone, but me and Carla watched them all, and we really, really enjoyed them. A lot of them, but there's.
Why is there I know there's another Walking Dead coming out, but why?
Oh, really?
Popularity.
The ones who I hate Walking Dead. It's so predictable.
It's because it's popular. It's something that's popular in the States.
Yeah, but it's like The Walking Dead, the ones who live, and I'm like, really? Great, okay, great. I'm so glad that they lived the apocalypse. Can they just die now because there's nothing left for them?
Yeah, I like the first couple of seasons of Walking Dead, but after that it just got silly, so I gave up with it. And I was a really I still am a really big zombie fan. I really like zombies. But I just couldn't. I was like, no, I'm done with this. I just can't anymore.
I just found it really predictable.
First episode.
I just found it so predictable. And also, because I was working doing makeup at the time, I think I literally zombied myself out because I was so fed up of doing zombies for Halloween. I think I did 30 zombies for one Halloween.
Bloody hell, that's a lot of zombies.
Yeah, and I'm like, nah, I'm done.
Soda has just had an encounter with a big spider. Yeah, I can't bear them. I can't bear them. Ben pointed out a few comments ago that I mainly kill spiders on live streams. Yeah, it's true. I have murdered two spiders on a live stream. Two separate live streams.
Was it this live stream? I was on a live stream and a spider ran across my foot and I literally my pants.
Yeah,
and people clipped it and kept sending it to me. I was like, I'm not normally worried by them, but it was just like,
No, I've had two run at me, run across my living room when I've been on a live stream, and I've had to dispatch both of them because I just can't. I'm not proud of it, and I would love to be a person who could go, oh, I'll trap it under something and take it outside. I can't do it. I cannot do it. I can't take my eyes off them because if they're not there when I get back, I have to burn the house down, and I don't want to do that.
So here's an amazing thing.
Can't bear them.
Carla is petrified us, but I mean, properly run screaming from them, even the smallest ones. I'm okay with them. I don't love them, but unless they suddenly land on me, and shock me. But my 9-year-old son has no fear of spiders or bugs or Jax. There's a spider. Okay, pick it up, take it out.
See, I don't have anyone to do that
or anything.
I can't. If I see one, I can't scream and run out the room because, like I said, if it disappears somewhere, that's it. I've got to sell the house. I can't. I just can't cope with it. So
Sorry,
when
I
I see
shouldn't.
them,
I shouldn't laugh
Excuse
at
the
that.
mess of my front room.
I
Excuse the
have to
mess of
kill
my
him.
front room. But that ginger thing, I mean, he's coming up 17, not this year. But that ginger thing there used to be the spider killer. That thing would absolutely. I mean, he was a spider hunter. He used to, before he was all old and like, I'm old, I just want to sleep. You know, cats sleep 23 hours a day. He now sleeps, 23 and 3/4 hours a day. He used to be great. He was absolutely brilliant. But now he would just look at him now as if to say, no, can't be bothered.
Have you seen the videos of people saying like why they get lizards as pets and they just hold them in their arm and take them around while they eat the spiders off the wall?
So no, that'd be fine. I'd be quite happy to have a lizard that ran about eating spiders. I mean, luckily I don't get many spiders in the house because I use a spider repellent on all my windows, so they don't come in. But unfortunately, I have to kill them. I can't because
Me, the spider catcher.
I used to have one of those, and it failed one day, and it wouldn't. The little door thing, when you turned the handle around, the little door wouldn't fall down. So I was stood there with a bloody great spider on the wall under this spider catcher. And I thought, well, now what do? I can't get near enough to the thing to close the door. And I was there for about 10 minutes just thinking, what am I going to do? Eventually, I just flicked it on the floor and crushed it because I just can't. Unfortunately, I've got such an aversion to them. They make me gag. I feel so sick when I see them. They just have to die, I'm afraid, and I'm not proud of it. And like I said, I'd love to be the person that can pick them up and take them out, but I just can't. I feel bad every time I do kill one. I think, oh, that poor thing, but I cannot bear it. I tell you what,
right? It's that time of year where it's getting cold. They're going to start coming in. I'll send Jackson up to you for a couple of weeks. Me and Carla get to have a break. You have a kid who will sit and talk toys with you all day and collect all the spiders you want.
Oh,
spiders shouldn't be coming in now. They should have gone into hibernation because the females have all been mated now. Mating season's in like autumn time, which is why you see more of them during August, September, October. And
Perhaps
then
I'm out, but you still see spiders in this house every bloody day.
Because the males mate with the females, and then the females eat the males, and then the females go and hibernate before they're ready to give birth.
Such a lovely caring. Look, don't ruin my plan to have a Jackson-free 2 weeks, mate. Shh.
No, do you know what? Do you know what the worst thing though that I've actually screamed and had a jump scare was? I went into the bathroom just to like get a bit of toilet roll to blow my nose, and as I turned the toilet roll around, there was a massive spider just sitting on it.
Oh, kill me!
And my dad, I screamed, and my dad was like, "What?" And I was like, "Effing hell! There's a massive spider!" Just as I turned the toilet roll around.
Oh my god!
I've gotten into bed before, and a spider's just crawled over my pillow.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Oh, I see TJC's comment. They're coming into your house as they're after you. They're not after me. They're after my missus, mate. I only freak out if I get a jump scare. Not if I saw one there now, I'd be like, "What are you doing?"
I think I told this story.
I crushed you.
I don't know if it was this stream or a different stream. I told the story, but I'll tell it. I'll tell it again anyway. It was a couple of months ago now. I was lying in bed, and I heard this scratching noise, and at first I thought it was Ewok just scratching something very lightly, only very lightly. But and then I heard this sort of. I heard it again. And I thought, well, what is that? Because Ewok wasn't about, and I thought, well, maybe it's a moth or something flying around the inside of my lampshade or something like that. There's something I can hear, and I could not place where it was. Now I looked down the side of my bed, and it was a spider walking along my skirting board, and it was that big that I actually heard its feet scraping along as it walked,
No.
and I was like, and it moved onto the floor, and I had nothing to whack it with, and I thought, well, if it runs under my bed, that's the end of that. That's not my bedroom anymore. I couldn't get up to go and find anything, like I've said, because if it's not there when I get back, I'm in deep shit. So I stared at it for maybe about 20 seconds, and it must have known I was looking at it, and I'm sure it was staring at me back. And we had this kind of, our eyes kind of locked, and I thought, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And then I karate chopped it. Yeah.
Amazing.
Fantastic.
I feel like the spider was probably just like, what the fuck, man? Like, why? It's just walking along the side of the skirting board. What are you doing?
Spiders, man. My missus, even I would wind. I still do from time to time, and Jackson's in on the joke now because I've got like a mini me now to assist with wind ups. As much as me and Carla love classic rock and we both love The Who, there's that song they did called Boris the Spider. And my miss should tell me off if I put it on because it makes the creepy, crawly, creepy. Anyway, so Carla never came and saw my band very much back in the day. And I will tell people it's because once you've seen us a couple of times, why would you want to go to it a lot? But it's probably because in sound check we often used to break into playing Boris the Spider by The Who just to wind Carla up. Great bass line.
Do you know what creeps me out when I learned about spiders is people used to say, oh yeah, if you just turn the tap on, they'll go down the sink and that'll be the end of them. Yeah, but they float.
They do float, yeah. They float because all the hairs on their legs, they trap air
so
in
you
it,
like you turn the tap on and they float down the spout, but they'll just come back up again.
Yeah, see, this is why I murder them, because then I know it's not coming back.
Oh, we just put them outside.
I can't.
I've gotten over my fear, and since we got the spider catcher, I can catch them and put them outside, unless they're on my ceiling because I'm not tall enough.
Yeah,
I mean, I work in so many properties that have been abandoned or left. The amount of bugs or something that's, I think this. You'll probably say you'd rather this than spiders, Dave. But something I've had happen to me at least twice is taking down old fiberboard ceilings. It's fire hazard, so you take it down, reboard it with plasterboard, skim it. Anyway, twice now I've been taking that down and I've had like a nest of dead rats, like mummified rat remains, just like
they're petrified.
I'll take that all day. They're dead.
Yeah,
and you're masked up with the proper mask. I mean, before my beard was, I wear a proper air hood now, but back in the day, you're masked up and you got your goggles on, but you just got all these dry dead rats, just like. And they're like proper crunchy and crispy.
I'll take that all day.
I find those in the hay sometimes that I get for the pigs.
No problem. If a rat came in here now, no problem at all. It would not bother me. If an alligator came in, it wouldn't bother me. Honestly.
I have accidentally vacuum packed a spider before.
What when you?
Yeah, so when I'd finished uni, I was moving back home. I was vacuum packing pretty much everything that I could to fit in my car, and the spider must have gotten in with my duvet. And I didn't notice until I got back home that he was vacuum packed in with my duvet.
Did it kill it?
Well, yeah, there was no air in it.
I want
Go on.
Sorry, carry on. No, you tell yours first.
I used to work at Sainsbury's. And one day I found a spider in the bananas, and it was massive. It was bigger than my hand. It was absolutely enormous. And it wasn't a banana spider, because I looked it up on the internet when I got home. And it was actually what they call, it's called a Brazilian wandering spider. And it's the second most aggressive spider on Earth. It will actually attack people. It will go for people if it sees them. so it doesn't run away from you. It runs towards you. It actually attacks on sight. Luckily, this one was dead, but I didn't know that at the time when I found it. And honestly, I thought I was going to have to go home because it made me so bloody ill. I was gagging and I went white and I was shaking and I had to go out the back and sit there for about 10-15 minutes because I was an absolute mess. Ugh, horrible.
Yeah, my brother used to deal with cellar spiders when he was a chef. They're massive. Hate cellar spiders.
I just can't.
But you saying, you know, your karate chop kill of a spider?
Yeah, that was great.
I think I have an equally cool kill that I performed once on a fly. I appreciate flies aren't as much. So I used to work in my dad's butcher shop. I am a fully qualified butcher as well, you know. And anyway, summertime, you do everything in your power to keep flies out of the shop. You got all the screens on the cabinets, you got all the chains dangling down, you got the lights, main shop lights off, everything. But you always still get the odd one flying around. And one was flying, and I had like this huge steak knife in my hand where I was breaking down a body of beef. Yes, I did wash the knife afterwards. It's sort of, I saw it flying, I just went, and I managed to like slice it midair.
Excellent. That's pretty cool.
I did clean it up, and I did clean the knife and sterilize it. But that was a good clean kill.
It reminds me of a story that that Luke was telling me. He found a spider on his stairs, and so that he decided that he would dispatch it with a sword. So he grabbed a samurai sword and actually sworded this spider to death. And I think he's
Luke Reynolds.
And he bent his sword when he was doing it. But
you know what? I kind of feel really sorry for the spiders now.
I've punched one in the face. I saw one on the wall once, and it made me jump because I suddenly saw it out the corner of my eye, and my first instinct was just to punch it. So and I dented. It wasn't a solid wall; it was like a plasterboard wall. So there was a knuckle mark in the wall where I'd punched this spider. But yeah, it was just my natural instinct. I didn't know what else to do, so just punched it.
You're spiders.
Yeah, but I feel now that we've been talking about spiders, one's going to come at me. I've got that all the hairs on the back of my neck are standing up because I've just got this feeling that there's one in here listening to me now, and it's going.
I'll take your mind off of it, and I'll tell you one more story from the butchery, and I laugh about it, and it's not overly gory, but it's something that to take your mind off the spiders. But another steak knife incident, and bear in mind these things are like, you know, little machetes. I'm breaking another body of beef. I used to do a lot of beef. Anyway, coming down for it. Delivery driver. It used to be the butcher shop was a converted cow milking shed thing. It was really cool, the building, because where it was all tiled and sloped, you could spray it all down with a hose. It was the cleanest place I've ever worked food wise. Anyway, I'm there. It's just me breaking a body of beef, and this mush called Chris comes in, who was our regular delivery driver. And he's chatting to me, and I'm coming down through these set of ribs with a steak knife, just trimming between them, and I get to a bit of gristle. Anyway, put my hand on the beef, right? Chris says something to me, and like normally I would look and just give it a quick swip with a knife like that, like that. Anyway, Chris is talking to me, hand in the wrong place, smack, straight down across my knuckles.
Oh,
and here's the thing. I had to go and get stitches across my hand, but anyway, I take my hand. Later on, I did. Anyway, I'm like, oh, that's not good. I'm gonna have to take that up and go get that stitched up after work because I'm on my own. Glove it up. Anyway, who do you think's the person who was nearly passing out? Because you saying about all this, seeing a spider. It wasn't the guy who just hit himself in the hand with a knife and opened up his hand. The delivery driver. There I am. I got claret pissing out of my hand. I've had to go and find a chair to sit this delivery driver down on and put his head between his legs.
Oh no!
He cut myself and bleeding, and he's there like whiter than like white, like literally like.
Oh.
I'm like, dude, it's not. I should be like this, not you.
Yeah, I'm generally all right if it's my own stuff, but I can't deal with other people's things. A guy once broke his finger in half in front of me, and I couldn't cope with it. He sort of held his hand up and he went, "What do you think about this?" And in his I don't know if I can do it on camera, but he had it. His finger was sticking out at right angles to his knuckle, and he said, "What should I do about this?" And I said, "Well, what?" I said, "Oh, I didn't realise he had just done it, and I was the first aider on site at the time." And he said, "What am I going to do about this?" And he was so calm, and I figured that it was just a weird, freaky hand thing he had. And I was like, "Oh, what's going on there?" He was like, "Well, this thing just fell off, or I tried to grab it, and it's snapped my finger in half." And I went, "Sorry, you've just done that just now?" And he went, "Yep." And as soon as he said "yep," I went, "Bleh."
My mate's
I was
dad.
fine looking at it because I didn't realise it was an actual injury that had just happened. But yeah, as soon as he said, "I've just done it now," that was it. I was like, "Oh my God!" And you'd think it'd be the other way around, really, wouldn't you? But no. That
Why
really
did you think it was a good idea to be a first aider?
Well, I just don't know, more money,
No, okay.
Well, my friend's dad, he still is. I mean, he's 66 now, and if you saw him, he looks like he's about 40. He's the fittest man you've ever seen. He's just full head of hair, dark brown, still got his 80s tash, been scaffolding for years, fit as they come, right? Strong as an ox. Anyway, when we were younger, I remember Paul, we used to all the time, so the road I grew up in, like, every road when there's like groups of friends, there's always one house with the friends where every kid goes to because they can get away with like smoking and stuff and whatever. So we all used to hang out around Lee's house, and I can remember being in his kitchen. All the kids playing because they were into their darts. It's part of this story. Playing darts. Lee's mum used to turn a blind eye to the fact that I would smoke outside the patio doors because she was a smoker. My mum was a smoker. She was just a hypocrite who wouldn't let me. And she gets a phone call from Paul, apparently, and she's like, "Oh, Julie's like, I've got to go to Salisbury near Odstock Hospital Way, which is about hour-ish drive." What? Oh, your dad's had an accident with his finger. What he did, so a scaffold van was backing up. The poles are like piled up on the back.
Yeah.
He's talking, he's pointing, and anyway, he's got his finger stuck out, apparently, pointing to something. Anyway, his finger gets caught in the end of one of the poles. As the van is reversing back, snaps his finger off.
Oh.
But Paul, this really super quick thinking, manages to get the finger out of this pole because stop. Sticks the finger back on, and we're like, "How do you manage?" Because he had to have like surgery, had like a rod drilled down his finger. But when you snap a lolly stick and it like splinters and you can push them back together.
Yeah.
Apparently, that's basically what he did with his finger. He was just by chance, like that. And because he managed to do that and get pressure on it, they saved the finger. You had to have like a proper bar screwed down it for ages, like with a little, like, like those things you put in for net curtains, had like a ring out the end of it.
Oh.
The only downside was he was a Super League dart player, and he was never as good at darts ever again. It just changed his throw. He was still a all right darts player, but he lost his game. So there you go. That's a chill. This should have been a Halloween special.
Address this comment by Ben. Let me just see if I can find it.
Well, I think he asked me something. He
did.
This is my first time chatting in your chill stream. Found you through Monkeyboy, but today was the first notification I got before the event. Just asking for a general vibe of your channel, dude. And I don't know what you mean by general vibe of my channel. What do you mean?
I think he's just asking like what the deal is with the channel. Like what the format is, or what the subject is, perhaps. What would you say, Tim?
Well, when I first really started it, I wasn't really doing much. I was mainly doing cat videos, and then after that, I was doing videos where I would show off my physical media collection like new buys, DVDs and Blu-rays I just bought. But then I was doing the toys, and now I do either toys or physical media updates every so often. But I've been doing these chill streams for a while. But I want to get back into showing off the new additions to my toy and physical media collections. And speaking of toys, I got one of my Amazon Prime packages today, so
Well, let's have a look.
I'm going to open that on camera. I got one other package coming from Amazon Prime today. So
I hope you haven't confused your toy order with your Y-Fronts order, Tim.
With my what order?
With your underpants order. So you're not doing an underpants reveal.
Nah. The last time I bought underpants was at Target, so I didn't buy any more underwear off of Amazon, especially since the one time I did buy underwear off there, it wasn't the right size.
I only got one pair of socks for Christmas. That was
so I got these.
Oh, I got 6 pairs.
One pack with 3 pairs in.
I got I got a pack of Marvel socks and a pack of DC socks.
I got a pack of JCB socks.
Got the Rogue One.
Is that the Dinerso with the ridiculous weapon?
Yeah, but
I think Tim, the chat's asking if you can make yourself bigger so they can see.
Okay. I'm not seeing where there were. Okay, now I see. Okay. So, yeah, so Jin Urso.
Looks like a nice enough figure.
Yeah, and then
is it a Hasbro job?
Yeah, but I think this is one I think it's one that's out of print, but they probably made too much of her.
Well,
and then
oh, okay. Don't separate them, Tim. Don't separate them.
Yeah, but
while Tim's doing that, my pals gave me a pair of socks that says I'm introverting, go away.
Yeah. go away. So get the sucker. Oh, cut it, the sucker open.
Careful.
While Tim's opening that, I'm just going to read one of Ben's other comments. That was at me. Salute to another musician, dude. We used to play Boris the Spider too. Always had cough after singing it though. Bit deep. Yeah, I can imagine that one be a little bit of this strain on the older throat. But yeah, no. Salute to you too, sir.
Universal Toy Collector stopped by too.
Oh, hey man.
And
you said he was going to pop back if he could.
It is Chewbacca.
Yeah. Chewbacca.
Nice. What a Wookiee.
Yes, you know. Chewbacca.
Nice. Yeah, that's cool.
I like that. I like the classic style card back.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Nice
That
one.
is nice. I would proudly display that little bugger.
And they
Nice.
show him on the back with a bunch of other figures, the young Lando and Yak Face, and then Elite Praetorian Guard, Imperial Stormtrooper, and then Captain Phasma.
But you're going to open that, aren't you?
Yeah, at some point.
Well,
I've
you
got a bunch
heathen.
of these suckers I've got to
Absolute
still
heathen.
open. And let's see, who else? There is a lot of people in the chat room now.
Do you want to go back and catch up with all the chat, Tim?
Yeah, I'm doing that now. Andrew saying, well, first go Gerard saying, like the packaging and figure looks good too. And then Andrew, few things as fun as opening toys, or for Monkeyboy, opening the box that the toy was shipped in.
I
And
just imagine
I've got
Monkeyboy.
something to add to that. I've got something to add to that in a bit, but catch up with the chat, Tim, and then I'll show you.
okay, Chewbacca sounds Spanish to me. That's what Andrew has to say. And then TJC, hey Stu, and Ben Stetley at Gerard O'Connor and Action Pop Dad, musicians, hail, hail. And Universal Toy Collector says, hey, TJC. And then Tim's Talk says, hail, Tim. It's the other Tim. He looks just like Kylo Ren.
It's as if a million voices suddenly cried out in terror.
And Gerard O'Connor says, no socks for me, but I did receive a t-shirt with the print of, in my defense, I was left unsupervised very and
You're right,
I had some of the old 12-inch Star Wars jobbers. Chewie reminded me of the $6 million man bionic Bigfoot toy. I think I am showing my age. Oh, this looks so cute.
Oh, nice. He's cool.
And TJC,
He's the
just to
most
let you know,
terrifying thing you will ever see.
He's cool.
What
reminds
thing?
me of, it's a bit like Morph.
Yeah, double feature gaming memories this coming weekend.
Spent bloody silly money on this.
Okay, and Ben Stetley says, hit the likes, folks, below 50 from what I can see. And so what was it you had to show us, Monkeyboy?
All right, okay. It was just regarding the comment of me opening the boxes that things come in. This arrived for me recently, which is a TMNT Bad Guys 4-pack, and I was very excited to receive this. But then I looked closer at the package, and as you can see, it says, "This is a set. Do not open." So that's really disappointing. I was looking forward to seeing those.
Well, I have that set because a mutual friend, Mr. French, very kindly sent it over for me, and I opened it. I opened every single one of them, off the card backs as well.
But it says "Do not open."
Well, open it anyway.
Well, I can't. It tells it's specific instructions not to open it, so I'm going to have to display it like this in the box. How disappointing!
Yeah, well, this said, "This is a set. Do not separate." I don't really care.
I have got some other bits to show while I'm on the screen. A few more charity shop pickups for the week.
Dave, just before you show those,
yep.
Just before you show those, just so you know, that white box is only the outer. You do know there's a display box inside of that box with nice artwork on it. Yeah, should be.
Okay. Okay.
So you can just like cut the tape, but inside it you'll have they'll be sealed inside another box with real nice artwork on it. Just saying. will look a lot better on the old shelf if you can break your own rule. Anyway, I'll shut up now.
Let's have a
Charity
look.
shop pickups.
Let's have a quick look. Hang on. I'll have a quick look inside the box. No, they're just in here.
Oh, you got done, man. Mine. Which baddies are in that pack?
It's Shredder, Krang, Bebop, and Rocksteady.
Oh, I apologize. When I saw the mutant bad guys, my mutant bad guys, so it's actually different. It came in that out of box, but mine have Mutagen Man. Oh bloody the Bat guy. Oh god, and two others. They'll come to me, but mine were in a lovely display box with them all, and the artwork was them on a driving a one of the like Cadillac things that the flying ones. My apologies, mate.
Oh, that's all right. It looks like they're just inside.
Oh,
inside there. But anyway,
you can have my display box. I'll send it to you.
No, that's all right, man. Oh shit! I've just knocked me. Hang on. Hold on, Mr. Don't panic, Mr. Mannering. Right. So, yeah, I just got a few charity shop pickups. One of them I really don't know why I bought, but we'll get to that at the end. The first one I picked up was Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 2, because I had Part 1 that I bought in the charity shop a few weeks ago. I hadn't seen either of them. I'm not really a fan of the Hunger Games films, if I'm honest, but I am a very big fan of Jennifer Lawrence. And I figured as I had Part 1 and Part 2 was sitting there for £1, I figured I would get that. So that was the first thing. The next one was the Lego Movie, the second part. So I'm assuming that's a sequel to the Lego Movie, one would imagine. Haven't seen this, but I did enjoy the first film, so figured I'd give that a go for £1. Can't really argue. Next film I picked up, I got the Blu-ray of Life of Pi, which I saw at the cinema, and it was I did enjoy the film. It was rather sad. I did have a bit of a lump in my throat at the end of that one, I must admit. But it's there's some good effects in it, certainly for the time. I mean, it's not a hugely old film. CGI has probably come quite a long way since this film was released, but certainly there's some very good sort of scenes and set pieces and stuff in the film. I would recommend watching that if you haven't seen it. It's quite a good film. And then bizarrely, and I don't know why I bought this. I bought the PS4 game Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Now, this is a peculiar thing for me to do because I don't play modern video games because I'm crap at them. And I imagine this will be quite difficult with lots of different moves to remember and different button combinations and stuff. So I don't really know why I bought it, other than the fact that it was £4.95. And I just thought, oh, that's a bargain. I'll have that. So I dare say this will just sit on the pile of all my other PS4 games and never get played. So there we go.
Excellent.
And I got an update on the rest of my Amazon Prime order that says now arriving tomorrow by 9 p.m. The other part of my order was previously expected today. We're sorry for the delay. They tell me that package delayed in transit.
So what are you not going to spoil what you've got coming?
Well, I showed you earlier on. You
showed me.
It was a Blu-ray and it was another action figure. So kind of annoyed that they pull this crap on me. I'm not really surprised. I'm not surprised that they pull this crap.
Well, I've been getting loads of late stuff from Amazon recently.
They could still deliver it tonight by 9 p.m. if they really wanted to, but I think they're just It's just, I think it's just partially laziness on their part.
I was going to do my Godfather impression, but my vape was slightly too long. If I take the pod out, I can do it.
And Lester San Jose, the skeptic tank, is in the chat and says nice times. I guess Lester was referring to those DVDs you got.
Okay, yeah, probably, yeah. I mean, I always get lucky at the charity shop with DVDs and stuff like that. But yeah, that PS4 game was bizarre because I've got about 10 games that I've never played. I don't know why. I don't know what's wrong with me. Why would I buy a game that I've really got no intention of playing?
Why do? Yeah, but why do we buy anything?
Well,
I
stood there.
The purchase, the thrill of a delivery.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, I think it's just because it's quite a new game, or not new game, but it's a fairly new game, and it was $4.95, and I just thought, oh, that's a good price for a PS4 game that's, you know, not really crap and not old. But what I shall probably do is go onto YouTube, watch other people playing this game, and then go, oh, that'll do. It's probably just as good as me playing it myself, or just watch someone else play it. Bit of a silly thing to do. I remember playing the first Assassin's Creed game when it first came, when the franchise first started, and I wasn't very good at that. So I'm going to be terrible at this one, absolutely, without a doubt. So,
again, I think.
Pardon?
I think I might play Journey again. I haven't played that in a long time.
Don't know that.
It's like not a shooting game or anything like that. It's basically you just go through a journey and you can meet other people if you do it online, but there's no talking. It's just the graphics and the music are really good, but you go through these different lands in order to get to the top of the mountain.
Cool. Okay. Are there dragons in it?
No, but it's like it's known for its soundtrack and it's known for its graphics. But if you're going to be really particular, you can go and find the little light orbs that give you a longer cape that you can fly.
Ooh.
But it makes the game harder. Not as much fun.
Okay.
I quite like it when you just don't want to kill people in a game.
Have you seen this game called Stray? It's where the character you play is that of a stray cat, and you have to travel across. You have to travel across a city to find your family, and there's it's set in a kind of
Can you die?
Futuristic. It's almost like a Blade Runner type city, and there are robots and stuff in it, but you have to make your way across the city to reunite with your family. But you're a little cat, and you can sort of, you know, scamper along and climb up things and jump about.
Can you die though?
I don't know, and now you've made me sad.
Yeah, I was gonna say if I am a cat and I die in it, then no, I'm not interested. I'd rather play Goat Simulator where I never die.
Goat Simulator is good, but no, I think I'm.
No, but do you know what though? I find people like the first time people play Goat Simulator, they're like, "Why is it so buggy?" And we're like, "It's meant to be buggy, though."
Yeah, it crashes a lot and does some bizarre things, don't they? But that's kind
of... but it's kind of the whole point, especially when you turn into satanic goat.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, there's satanic goat, and you can fly a spaceship.
I've watched a few Goat Simulator videos on YouTube, but
it's so much. It's so much fun to play because you can stick your tongue to stuff and like literally pull whole oil tankers with your tongue and fling it into people and they die.
Okay. Bizarre.
It's great fun.
Yeah. It's not the most accurate simulation of a goat.
No, but they do Goat Simulator in space now.
That doesn't sound as fun.
You get Superman goat. You get Satanic goat.
Satanic goat, amazing.
Yeah, but you actually have to go on a pentagon, with the pentagram. Like you go up to the pentagram and then you start doing these weird possessed things, and then you turn into Satanic goat.
Oh no, Tim, I've just shared a screen with you, which should be in the bottom of the thing. If you get a second, just so I could show. Right, so just to, I said to you inside your box. Now I appreciate this isn't the set I got because I can't find that bloody set. Typical. My set came with like Mutagen Man, a Foot Soldier, the crocodile character, Leatherhead, and the bat one, whose name will come to me. But inside that white box, it said pretty much the same on it, and there was like the pack of 4, and it had like that box. Not that box, but another box similar to that with really cool art on it. That's what I thought was inside that white box of yours. So my apologies, sir.
No, that's all right. That's all right.
But
perhaps
however, I do have the empty display box if you want it, because it's really cool, but it's just sat doing nothing.
No,
so if you want me to send it to you, you can have it.
Don't worry about sending that.
You're right, man. Don't send me your crap. But no, so that was it.
What's on it? What is on the box that you've got?
It's Mutagen Man, Leatherhead, Foot Soldier, and I can't remember the name of the bat character. It will come to me, and they're like in like a space Cadillac thing that they Foot Soldiers had as a toy in the 90s, which was like what the Neutrinos rode. It's really cool. It's just a box, but it's sat there. I've opened all the figures, so it's actually currently behind all my turtles. And I'm using it to prop up other Turtles toys, so it wouldn't be missed.
I might have seen it when you showed me your Turtles collection the other day. I might have seen it in the background.
My silly small collection I amassed last year.
It's a nice collection.
That's an example of when you go, I'm just going to get the core characters. Oops.
Yeah, well, that's what I said. But I've got the 10, 11 core characters, and then I've got this 4-pack because I wanted to see the difference in the sculpts, and also I wanted to keep some on card. I wanted 4 bad guys to display with my carded storage shell turtles, because I'm not going to open those.
Sure.
So I just wanted it just to balance out the thing, and I think the bad guys look more interesting anyway.
To be honest with you, the Playmates line for the turtles, the first one are cool, but the character, I mean, I bought. Why is my brain dead this evening? I can normally name turtles characters like that. Oh, who's the garbage man? Anyway, it'll come to me. I've got COVID brain. Can't help it. Yeah, he's just Muckman. I bought Muckman. Yeah, I had to buy him from the States because he was far too expensive in the UK, and I found a seller on US eBay, and I messaged him and said, "Look, man, I'm happy to pay through eBay. I'm not trying to do a side deal, but eBay's trying to auto-generate the postage to the UK, which was like more than the figure. I don't know how he worked his magic, but he did me a deal on it. Whether he kept some of the postage and he did a discount anyway. It worked out. I got him for about £34 delivered to the UK, and he was complete. Okay. So I was like, yeah, that's awesome. And he said, I've saved him now. He said, any other figures you ever see, just give me a message. And anyway, tangent. But the figures as they went on, the villains, the sculpts on them, if you actually look at, they're so cool. There's so much detail on them. Like, I think the villains are, for me, one of the highlights of the. I mean, it's a vast line. It's huge. But I think the villains are, for me, where once you've got the core characters, you find so many cool villains, and they're just absolutely awesome. Yeah. And Mutagen Man is a must for every collection. I'm just saying, Dave.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to probably get him, aren't I? I mean, I'll get Baxter first, and then I'll try and get Mutagen Man. But to get him complete with all the little bits that go inside him and stuff, it's
Right. So that 4-pack I bought that came with a Mutagen Man in it really annoyed me, because generally they come with completely reproduced really nicely and everything. And Kim's gone. Bye, Kim.
yeah, she scared her off with turtles.
Yeah, it happens though. He didn't come. They didn't produce him with all his accessories. He didn't have his little canisters for the back of him. He didn't come with his gun.
Kim Gonick said in private chat she's heading off. Thanks for having me.
Bye, Kim. Thank you.
Bye, Kim.
Yeah, thanks for coming, Kim.
And yeah, so I was really annoyed with that, and that ruined the whole set for me. So that's why in protest I opened them all. And I was so disappointed. The only accessory Mutagen Man came with was the plug for his head and the pipe, but it didn't have the canisters to connect the pipe to. So when somebody gifted Luke a Mutagen Man a while ago, although it's not a repro, it's a reissue, I sent him the pipe to put on his vintage one. And Luke didn't realise inside his Mutagen Man that he had most of the little floaty bits inside him, because over the years when it had water in it dried, got stuck inside of him. So he was showing it to me in a video call, and I was like, look, shake him. And he's like, I didn't realise it had this stuff in him. So I was like, mate, I think he had like 5 of the 8 pieces. I was like, that's a really good score, man. So I sent him the hose pipe. But yeah, I got, so interestingly, I got my Mutagen Man complete, minus the bit of pizza was missing on the sprue. And it's very, very tiny piece. I was like, okay, I can cop that. That's fine, because I got him for a good price. And anyway, I was searching on eBay, eBay US. Someone had one for I think it was for $2 or $3, just this piece of pizza, tiny, minute. And the postage again was flipping mental.
Yeah.
Message to Michael. Michael, any chance if I PayPal you some money? He's like, done. So it's sat in retroblasting. It's just waiting for. He's like, I'm afraid to post it over because it's so small, but he's coming over next year. So I said, bring it when you come over. It's cool. It's no rush. I know it's there. I know I own it. I don't care where it is in the world.
And you and Michael need to give each other a great big hug then.
Yeah, but I mean, I'll give him a hug, but like he towers above me. I'll be like, my head will be buried in his chest.
Well, he towers above Tony as well, but they gave each other a big hug.
Mate, I hug everyone. Tim, if you walked in a room now, you'd be getting a hug. If Monkey walked in a room, you'd be getting a hug. Everyone gets a hug. You get a hug. You get a hug. You get a hug. You'll get a hug. I'm a hugging guy. So yeah. No, but Scuba Pete gives the best hugs I've ever had. He's a big man. He is a big dude. Like,
how tall is he?
Probably 6'3", maybe 6'4". He's just hench. He's just a big unit. He's a big like guy. There's like no fat on him. He's just big. He's just a big guy. I saw him when he was in Leicester. I couldn't miss him. He was walking down the street while we were waiting outside Leicester Vintage Toys. And I saw him and Leslie's tiny next to him. That's his wife. Anyway, I saw him and I went to shake his hand. I was like, no, I didn't, and met him in person before. He's like, come here, you. And he's just, hello, Pete. Great guy. I can't, he's coming back over in April and we're all going up to the NEC. So I really cannot wait to, got to spend a day with him before TJC. If he's still in the chat, he's going to be there. Can't wait to meet up with everyone again. It's like I was counting. Jason Travels with Jason's going. Sue. Although people voted for him to remain as Stu. Why? Sue forever. Sue's going to be there. Loads of people, man. Even Chris Miwa's coming over.
Right.
Like, so many people. I think the last count when I actually worked out and added it up, there's going to be like 20 in our group alone. So I just hope I get to spend ample time with everyone, if you know what I mean. We've got like 2 days.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be a good time.
Oh, Jared's got Jared O'Connor. Jared Connor. Jared's got a question for me, which I absolutely do not mind answering if Tim brings it up. He says, Nick, a personal question, which of course you don't have to answer. I'm curious, is all. You mentioned your wife earlier, and us being similar age, I'm curious as to what age you guys tied the knot. Was it 21 or 22? It was either 21 or 22 we got married. Been together about 18 years, I think, something like that. And another interesting fact, we have the same date of birth, and no, she's not my twin sister. We come from different people. I might live in the country, but I'm not inbred.
It's such a coincidence.
So we're the exact...
that probably doesn't happen that often.
No, I've met other people who have got the same birthday, but on couples, I've met a couple with the same birthday, but in different years. But not the same day. Like, say, same year and day. I think she's like 7 hours older than me.
Where is she from?
Where's she from? She's from Dorset, mate. Actually, I live in the country. She's a proper Dorset country girl.
So were you possibly even born in the same hospital?
No, she was born in a hospital called Dorchester Hospital, and I was born in a hospital called Poole Hospital.
Uh-huh.
So about 20 miles apart.
Wow.
I know, man.
It's crazy, isn't it, that you're both born on the same day? That's mental.
What's even crazier is that her parents were feeling amorous on the same night as my parents. Ugh, there's an image I wish I'd never conjured. So yeah. So yes, we will be having our joint 40th this year.
I can't even remember what I did for my 40th. I don't think I did anything. I don't think I celebrated it. Just let it come and go.
So having a wife with the same birthday as me does lead to one consequence. I would happily not celebrate birthdays for myself. But of course, because we have the same birthday, everyone makes a bit of a deal of it in the family. So
yeah,
there's no escaping your birthday. I got all my family at Christmas. They were all going on at me. Oh, you've got to do a 40th party. You've got to have a 40th party. Neither of us want a 40th party. It's a lot of effort.
Yeah, but you'll get one. So someone else will go to all the effort. You just have to turn up and make cake.
I know, but it's just Tim, did I assume you've hit the age of 40 and maybe a couple of years past? You look so young.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm turning 47 this year.
Do you remember your 40th birthday?
Barely. I think maybe I just went out to eat at Denny's with my mom.
See, that sounds great. I love Denny's. We don't have Denny's over here, but I have been to Denny's when I was in the States, and I love Denny's. Brilliant place to eat. I like their breakfast burritos. They're amazing. I don't know if they still do them, but they did when I was over there.
I don't know if they do, but I hear from other people that the food at Denny's is terrible.
I enjoyed it. I mean, I gained so much weight when I was in America because I just wanted to eat at every fast food chain I'd ever seen on TV or in a film. Because, of course, like you know, we've got Burger King, we've got McDonald's. I still had to sample an American Burger King at McDonald's. It's not as much difference as you'd think. But American KFC is very different. You guys have mashed potato. Or at least you did when I came over. And you don't do, and you didn't do fries. Like over here, it's just like fries, which is a bit, which like, you know, mashed potato and gravy makes more sense. I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't mind gravy on chips. It's not my favorite thing. More curry sauce guy. Yes, TJC. At Len, I mean Denny's. But
yeah, it's a joke. There used to be these commercials where they were these two ladies that would always like to go eat at Denny's, and one of them would say at Lenny's, and then another lady would correct her and say Denny's.
I see. I liked In-N-Out Burger. That was all right. Quite basic, but nice. And I liked Jack in the Box. I thought Jack in the Box was great. I think it was like $2.59 or something for like a double chicken burger with like curly fries and like what seemed like a bucket of Fanta. Wow. Well, Carl actually had the Fanta. I had the root beer. I don't know, root beer. It's amazing. I was like, I could get so fat over here. The food was so cheap. And like I mean, you live in America, Tim. Are the portions still insane? Like, I couldn't believe the food portion sizes in the States.
It seems like at Denny's they used to give you more French fries if you just ordered a tub of fries without the burger. They don't seem to give you as much, because I think they give you they sell you these crinkle cut fries now.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you want the spicy fries it's curly fries now.
I think one of the ones that surprised me was Taco Bell. I tried Taco Bell out there. We've got a couple in the UK now, but again, they put fries with it, and I'm sure you didn't have fries with Taco Bell when I was in the States. It was like cinnamon chip type things, like we would call them crisps.
What is Taco Bell? I think we've just got one in Norwich actually. I've never been there, but is it like a Mexican version of like a fast food joint, or?
Yeah, pretty much.
I
just
might have to give it a try.
I just remember being really excited that there was a Taco Bell in the town where my mum lives opened up, and I really enjoyed Taco Bell when I was in America. And me and Carla sort of like really excitedly went there. Oh, this is some Taco Bell. This is going to be great. And we were just like, this isn't like it. It didn't travel the pond very well. It didn't feel, felt a bit like they didn't quite get it right.
Oh. I've been to Wendy's a few times because there used to be a Wendy's in Leeds. I used to have a girlfriend that was from Leeds.
I did Wendy's,
and I also went to Wendy's a few times in New Zealand. I really liked Wendy's. I thought they were great. I really, really enjoyed that.
I liked them. I liked Wendy's, and we went to a place which sold is it corn dogs? But like they were really cheap. It was like their thing. They were always cheap. They weren't expensive because I think that was possibly in Vegas. And my brother-in-law was like, you can't go home without having a corn dog. And like, he's like, order a couple. So I ordered a couple, and I was sort of eating it, and I was like, it's all right, but it's not. It didn't blow my mind. So.
What are they? Are they like a hot dog with some sort of corn?
They're like a
batter?
Hot dog dipped in like a corn batter, yeah. And they fry them, and they're sort of the batter's sort of smooth, and it's on a stick. Yeah, there's less to put hot dog on a stick, pretty much, but in like batter. So it's all right.
Oh.
But I can't. Place I like, and Gerald on that, Supermax. That's a place. I think the last one I went to was in Dublin. It's sort of like a fast food chain that does everything.
Hmm.
It's like it copies every fast food chain all under one roof. It's amazing.
Huh.
Really liked it there. But then I haven't been to Dublin.
Is that an Irish thing or is it a global thing?
I haven't seen it anywhere else. It was only in Dublin, so I'm just double check. It's definitely called I'm sure it's Supermax. I'm convinced it is. Supermax, fast food chain restaurant. Supermax has over 100 family restaurants across Ireland, serving quality Irish food and Papa John's pizza now. Oh, there you go. Did Papa John's when I was there, I don't think. But yeah, it's like it. I loved Supermax. I mean, if there's one thing from loving fast food I've gained, it's the body of a god. Shame it's Buddha. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit, bit rounded. So yeah, I'm gonna think about making a move shortly, guys, because I've got to go up the Wooden Hill to Bedfordshire because I've got work in the morning, and I'm still technically poorly. I'm feeling a bit meh.
Well, I hope you're feeling better soon, man.
I feel a lot better than I did the other day. I just the fatigue, but my sleeping pattern's all over the shop. That's the problem. Like I don't feel tired now, but tomorrow I'll be like, oh.
Yeah. Well, we've been going for 3.5 hours, so should we wrap it up, Tim? Do you think?
Yeah, let's wrap it up. So.
Yeah, well, I'll hang in for the last couple of minutes then.
Thanks to everyone for joining us in the chat. It's good to see you all here. Again, I won't name you all by name because I'll miss somebody, but thank you so much. Thanks to Monkey for joining us earlier on, and thanks to Nick and Kim for joining us as well. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Tim. We'll see you soon.
Bye, guys. Everyone.
See you on the next one. Bye. Have a great one. Happy New Year, everyone.
Bye.
Happy New Year.
Bye. Tim, I'm gonna die.